He says right here, one of the things Peter and I were aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios is a certain minority, he says, of people online that could be well uproarious and unkind. Okay. Now, let me say this. It's not a minority. I think this came on the heels of the whole Henry Cavill situation where you had one actor who was basically unanimously liked in this role, even the people that were critical maybe of movies that he was in. A few people had issues with Henry Cavill being Superman. And that's very seldom do you catch that lightning in the bottle like that, where you're like, you got a guy that's fit for this role. People, fans, non-fans, they're fans of him. So you probably should keep him around. You know, he's like the star athlete that's on the board that you can get. It doesn't matter if you have something else in mind. You built that around him. But he didn't do it. He said, nah, you up out of here, man. I don't need you. I'm writing this other deal. We need a younger version of whatever. And that's the route that he said that he was going to go. And yeah, there were people that pushed back on that, thought that was a silly mistake. It's not that people are against you rebuilding the universe or even starting from scratch and having a new universe, but to not include the person that was liked as a part of it is silly. He says also our choices in DCU are based upon what we believe is the best for the story and best for the DC characters who have been around for nearly 85 years. Okay. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not. But they are made with sincere hearts and integrity. With the story in mind, he continues on, no one loves to be harassed, here we go, or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse disrespect. Outcry will never affect our actions. And that's, Hollywood does this a lot. I mean, you see this with the Star Wars franchise a lot, where it's like, hey, people are critical of a move, people are critical of a character, and they try to diminish that by saying, well, it's only a small sector of those folks, and they are saying things or doing things that are far more of what it actually is. So they'll use terms like harassment and terms that you don't want anybody going around harassing people or anything like that. That's a problem. It's a fundamental issue. But to act like that's representative of the uproarious, what do you say? Uproarious and unkind, he says. But the uproarious people, the people that have issues with maybe the direction that it is that you're going, I just don't think that's a good representation of that. Let me just say that. But that's kind of the route it is that they go, and it's an effort to diminish what it is people are saying that is critical of an action or inaction, even for that matter. James Gunn, in my honest opinion, let me say this. I don't doubt that there will be stuff that will come out of this universe that he's building that some people will be fond of. But I will say this as well. I do not think that he was the best that was available to facilitate the bringing DC out of the hole that it's in live action wise. I don't think that he was the best person to facilitate that. Of course, only time will tell, but he's not off to the greatest of starts, but who knows what'll happen.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. This is episode 18 and the last episode of the War on Pop Culture for 2022. I am Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
Special Agent Carter Sauce.
I'm Special Agent Daniel Bobainer. I'm now the Zodiac Killer.
Clever, very clever. Well, tonight we are joined by two very special guests, two very good friends of the channel, friends of us personally. We have Mr. Kyle Curtis Flett from Return of the Living Flett, who is also a member of the Dark Ether Files Patreon. Hello there.
Hello there. Thanks for having me here. I'm welcome to be here. This is going to be an awesome show, and I know you guys we're going to have a kick-ass show tonight, and this is going to be a badass. I have so much to say about what's going on with DC over the years, so let's get the show going.
And also joining us is the one, the only General Burt, aka Brett from Good Real Hunting, who also was the progenitor of the Hollow Scream review series, one of the most fantastic Halloween review series that we have ever had the pleasure of being a part of. Hello there. How are you doing?
Man, dude, I am doing good. First off, I am freaking freezing. I am more cold than freaking DC letting Henry Cavil go as Superman. That's how cold I am.
Oh, yeah.
What's that? They're a hot cake, so.
Yeah. But regardless, welcome to the War on Pop Culture. This is your first episode. We're glad to have you here.
Man, I'm honored to be here too. Like, this is going to be very interesting. Everybody's like, "Oh wait, Brett's a super nice guy. He's got nothing bad to say." Stay tuned.
That's what people think
about. Are you sure? So. I mean, we could always bring you on for a watch along of Sausage Party on Danner's Dumpster.
Okay, then you will see the ugly side of me if we ever did that, which I'm sure that's going to happen in the future too. So prepare.
Happy birthday!
As you see that shit, it will fuck you up.
They're eating children! Fucking children!
If you say it, I'll deny it, bro.
Yeah.
So tonight we are going to be discussing DC, the big thing going on right now, and I would say that a lot of things have been happening in the world of DC over the past, I want to say 2 to 3 months, I guess. It started with the canceling of several shows on the CW. Then it started or continued with the scrapping of several DC projects. And then, of course, the big stuff came with the, I guess you could say, firing or removal of Henry Cavil as Superman. It's very interesting to see what Hollywood is doing and what DC is attempting to do or not trying to do. I honestly have no idea why in the world they would fire Henry Cavil. Because, well, actually, here's one thing I'll say. Henry Cavil is one of the few good eggs in the Hollywood industry that actually has the back of the fans. And this is very evident when he was doing several interviews for The Witcher, where he was, and I'm talking about one specific interview where they were talking about fandom. And the interviewer was asking these stupid questions about toxic fans. And that's a term that I really hate, especially these days, just because not only has it been overused and abused, but it's also been used to describe anybody that doesn't like anything that comes out on the assembly line of film. You know, the moment you criticize anything that comes out, it's, oh, you're just a toxic fan, you're just a hater. But in actuality, a lot of these people that have been vocal about the mistreatment of characters in the comic universe are mostly the people that read the comics when they came out. They went to the comic shop every Wednesday to pick up the new issue of DC or Marvel or whatever comic. These are the people that would go to bat for these characters. And to see them labeled as haters, it's very popular these days. Or worse, yeah. So Henry Cavill going to bat for those people, for us, the fans, to say that we're not toxic, we're just passionate about these projects, and how Henry himself is a very big proponent of respecting the lore, which is why he had a lot, of sort of influence on The Witcher, that he wanted it to be as faithful to the books as possible. And of course, now he left The Witcher, and he was supposed to, I mean, we saw in the Black Adam post-credit scene that he was back as Superman. He even said he was coming back, but then all of a sudden James Gunn takes over, and well, now he's gone.
Well, that's what pisses me off the most, is the going back and forth. And like you said, he's a good guy. I mean, even with that interview, I know which one you're talking about. Like, I really do think that interviewer was trying to bait him, just like, come on, talk about how bad the fans are. We're such a toxic bunch. I might be taking my act a little too far, but we're not toxic.
No, we're not.
But
we're
here's the thing about
to the fandom.
Henry Cavill. I think he was a great Superman. Now, when people say he's their favorite, I can understand why. But Christopher Reeve was legendary.
Exactly.
100%.
But-
100%.
But that said, I do think that Henry Cavill was like, yeah, you may be the next big thing. And despite how Man of Steel might have deviated a bit because it was pretty dark of a movie, you could tell that role meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And it's funny because this is just a little funny story. A couple of years before Man of Steel was even announced, I watched Hellraiser Hell World because he's in that movie.
Oh,
And
that's right.
when I watched that, I even commented, holy shit, this guy kind of looks like Tom Welling. So, and next thing you know, he's actually playing Superman.
Who, Tom Welling or Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill. I'm just saying Henry Cavill and Tom Welling look alike, and then next thing you know, Henry Cavill's playing Superman.
Yeah.
But that's what I hate. I mean, DC, they have never gotten their shit together at all. Even since Batman v Superman, that's when everything fell apart. Because as much as excited as I was, it's like having the big crossover as the second movie is a bit too early, don't you think? Don't even get me started on killing off Superman at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
That was shit. That was shit.
Or the introduction of Wonder Woman and Deathstroke.
Okay, I probably didn't have as big of an issue with, but then they had Suicide Squad, which if I talk about that movie, we're gonna be here for hours.
which one?
I hate the 2016 one.
The David Ayer's
Okay,
crap.
just want to make sure. Want to clarify.
Oh, you thought I hated giraffes? You've never seen me talk about Suicide Squad.
Now I'm curious.
And I'm
fucking very
hate
curious.
the director of Suicide Squad.
It's in my bottom 5 comic book movies. It's that bad to me.
It smells like something that would belong in Danner's dumpster.
That's where it fucking belongs, I think.
Yep, that would be an interesting film to watch.
Many things.
I know there are so many
things.
ideas.
But
hey,
let's save the world.
These guys, but even when they're talking about a solo Bat flick movie, it's like, okay, this sounds interesting. Like, I thought he was great as Batman. To see him go toe to toe with Deathstroke, if it could be anything like the boss fight from Arkham Origins, I think we are going to see something truly awesome on the big screen. But that never happened. And then we got the movie starring me, which I hope the Matt Reeves movies better not be touched. From what I've heard so far, they're okay. They're safe. Fingers fucking crossed. But I may have an issue with James Gunn taking over because we've seen what has happened before when someone who we mainly know as someone who's directed a Marvel project takes over a DC movie, i.e. Justice League.
Well, shit.
Now, of course,
that.
The Suicide Squad was a good movie. The last one was. But sometimes when that's all you're going to do is comic book movies, I think that's a bit restrictive for others who may want to take their shot at it. I don't think it should just be handed to one guy.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things that what kind of put me up on like a red flag for James Gunn, it was somewhat to do with how he treated like Drax, for example, in Guardians of the Galaxy compared to how Drax was in the comics. I mean, Drax had his moments of clumsiness, so to speak, but they made Drax out to be kind of a joke. And, for a lesser character, not many people had a problem with it. It's like, the Guardians of the Galaxy weren't the most popular of characters Disney, Marvel giving them their own movie. But, you still had a few people that are like, well, why the fuck are they like this or like that? But one of the things that really got me on the sort of red flag for James Gunn is when they were doing Peacemaker. I don't remember if it was John Cena that revealed it or if it was James Gunn that said it himself, but it was told that James Gunn told John Cena to not read any of the comics related to Peacemaker because he didn't want John Cena to have this sort of idea of what Peacemaker was like, that he wanted John Cena to make Peacemaker his own. And I'm thinking to myself, that type of mindset of not being at least a little bit faithful to the comics, to so much so to the point that you tell someone not to read a comic based on the character they're going to be playing, I mean, you would want to know some of the source
I
material.
mean,
Yeah.
right?
isn't that
Mhm.
isn't that called researching your role?
Yeah,
It's
would
like they're
think.
trying to erase history and just do their own shit.
yeah. I have an example like to that, like how James Gunn told John Cena not to do that. Let me give you an example of who actually was faithful and did their research. Cena, fuck, I forgot her last name. She was in. She played Jill Valentine in the Anderson adaptations of Resident Evil. But
Mila
'cause-
Jovovich?
no, she played Jill Valentine. It was a
Oh,
Cena.
you're talking about Selena.
Selena.
Wait, are
Yeah.
you talking about the girl that played in Crawl, correct?
Yeah,
No.
Or am I just way out
Oh.
of the ballpark?
wasn't she in Crawl?
Oh,
Yeah, she's
you're
like
talking
like
about
the main
that
girl in
series.
Crawl was like the main girl in the new
Yeah.
Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh no, we're not talking about her. No, we're talking about
Okay,
the,
see, I knew I was out of my element on
Anderson.
Yeah.
No.
Now
Yeah,
we're
that's the
talking
one.
about the
Now I'm
Paul
confused.
W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, it
one.
confused me there for a
Oh,
minute.
gotcha.
Okay, now
Yeah.
let me clarify something. The actress that played Jill Valentine in the Paul Anderson Resident Evil,
Apocalypse?
Apocalypse. She was actually a fan of Resident Evil 3, and she actually
Oh,
studied,
I
and
got the
she
characters mixed up.
She
Yeah,
actually
she-
did, yeah.
yeah,
did.
she's a fan of the third game, and she actually got down the runway pose, the shooting, and the style, and she went even all out for like third game, like how she looks in the game, which she actually did research, and I think she did research in like the later games when Jill becomes evil or she works for Wesker or something. Like they did, like she did her research, and to be
What the
Brad!
hell? Brad?
How you doing?
Hey,
What's up,
Welcome
Brad?
Hey,
to
Brad.
Warner Pop
Hey,
Culture.
buddy.
Brad. Hey, Brad.
Hola.
We
See?
need to talk.
yeah, but at
You
least
and I, you need
well,
to talk to me about The Shining.
but at least she was faithful
That's
to
our
the
New Year's
character.
resolution, okay?
Unlike, at least she was faithful to the character and her role to it, unlike John Cena did as Peacemaker. I mean,
I can't handle
Sorry,
Bert right in the middle of the background.
Huh?
Let me
Brad,
tell
I'm
you
pointing at
something.
you, motherfucker. I'm
Because
pointing
Brad
at
wants
you.
to be the star. Brad's supposed to be the.
Let me be honest. I wasn't intending that to be the case. It just so happened to work that way. The
Right
squares
there.
are weird for StreamYard, and it just so happens it's the perfect placement. He's just right there, staring at you, thumbs up, smile in
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
Two birds,
yeah,
two
but
birds are better than one.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
But you do get what I'm saying, though, right? At least someone who's faithful to this actually did their research, unlike telling you not to do your research.
Well, look, I mean,
That's like telling a teacher telling a student, okay, you're going to do a book report tomorrow, but I don't want you to read the book. I want you to just picture it how
Come
it
up
is.
with your
though.
own crap.
Well,
yeah.
look, here's a question for everyone here. Is lore important for you?
Yes.
Like when
Yes,
you
it is.
when you have a character
100%.
that you want to see adapted to film, you want there to be at least some accuracy to how they were in the old material that is now being adapted. Now, look, I'm
Exactly.
not asking for a one-to-one recreation because obviously, with all kinds of media, there's gonna be some creative liberties being taken. A good example is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. There's a lot of things that were in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that were not in the books, and for some people, they didn't like that. For other people, it was awesome. It was understandable, and we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy being one of the most popular cinema trilogies in recent memory.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
So,
I
and
know
so-
that.
Oh.
Hang on.
Okay.
I know that in the book, it's not Arwen that takes Frodo to Rivendell. It was Glorfindel who helped get Frodo on a horse and sent him off himself. That was in the book, but in the movie, they changed it up because they wanted to develop the relationship of Aragorn and Arwen. And, well, here's your introduction to the Princess of Elves.
Right.
Now,
For sure.
I shudder at how the modern audience thinks of that looking back, but we just thought, I personally didn't care. I went into Lord of the Rings blind. I knew nothing about it.
Or like
And I love it.
or like an example to Kyle, like how he loves Resident Evil, like except the crappy film Welcome to Raccoon City. It was basically somewhat not. It's not staying close to the source material. I mean,
Well,
the first
just
two
ask
games.
Kyle,
Well,
because Kyle
They-
is basically the Resident Evil expert out of all of us, I think.
Well, I'll just give you a little example. They start off. They were going in the right direction, firstly, but there's a lot of things and there's a lot of stupid shit in there that does not belong in there. Jill and Leon are tokenized dipshits who don't even look like they're friggin' characters. All four of them do not go in the damn mansion. And first of all, Wesker has his glasses already. One of them gets captured. And then Leon, and of course he's a rookie, but in the games he's still smart. He still knows what he's doing. This guy is just falling all over the place. Doesn't know how to shoot. That was his ass. And you only get one liquor. And yeah, they were just throwing all those stupid all politics. And Joanne Roberts did not have the proper. Still didn't have. Was this their puppet? He still had to go by what they wanted. Their Hollywood bullshit. So.
Yeah. So regardless, I mean, the whole point is that have some respect for what you're developing.
Making.
You take a comic and you adapt it to film. Be respectful enough to understand that you are tapping into somebody else's work. Have the decency to faithfully recreate it to the best of your ability. Obviously, each director is going to have their own influences, the things that they want to put, but there was an interview that Peter Jackson did when he was promoting the Lord of the Rings films. And one of the things he said was that he wanted to make sure that the filmmakers, including himself, didn't put their own ideas and politics and such into the film, that they wanted to make a film or films that Tolkien would have basically appreciated. And I feel like if we had more of that going on here with DC, things might be a little bit better off. Instead, I mean, you're having a lot of tokenizations, you're having these sort of rewrites of characters, and it's getting to a point where people are starting to notice the bullshit. And I mean, that's why I think that DC, well, it's one of the reasons why DC is, they're having a reboot going on. And I think that for what we've got, I think they might need a reboot. Considering that Man of Steel...
easily.
Yeah, I mean, Man of Steel was all right. For some people, liked it, they hated it. But I think that what many people could agree on was that Henry Cavill was a pretty good Superman. And he really fit the role.
Now, just to kind of go back in time a bit, because I feel the same way about another superhero that was played by a really good actor who really loved the character, but was not in the best movies. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Yep.
Danner. Be careful.
I was weighing right off.
Hey, look, I revisited The Amazing Spider-Man 2 after we saw No Way Home, and I stand by a lot of my criticisms. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was an overstuffed turkey where they threw in every single plot line at the wall, see what would stick. The only one that really stuck is the one that we also saw coming, Gwen's death. Now, on one hand, it only works because the acting is good. It works because Emma Stone dies, and she's great. But what doesn't work is that they only threw in the Green Goblin just so they can do that. And the movie had too many characters as it was. And I don't think he needed to be in there. If you were going to kill off Gwen Stacy, again, take some creative liberties. It doesn't have to be a copy-paste from the comic. As great, as faithful as it might be, there's always a danger to it. And that's a point I might bring up when we talk about The Shining.
But yeah, not to mention the concept. Sorry.
But even if Electro did, like, sure, that's not in the comics. Electro never killed Gwen Stacy. But again, try something. Take a risk. But again,
Take a fucking chance.
The trailer already blew Gwen's death. And then there's all the other plot lines, like setting up the Sinister Six. It's like, pump the brakes. This is about as messy as Batman v Superman, where you're trying to set up the future without staying focused at where you are in the story.
And where did both those go?
And again, well, hey, eventually, after the Amazing Spider-Man franchise got canceled, we got No Way Home, and my ears...
And now what do they want, Danner? Now what do they want?
Come on.
The Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Well, you know what I want? Contrary to that, I would like to see Andrew Garfield come back as Spider-Man with Deadpool.
Ooh,
that would be cool. That would be very cool.
Me and a buddy of mine, we would always talk, like, if they ever made a Spidey Deadpool bromance movie, who would we want? and we agreed Andrew Garfield. And then we just went on to say, imagine switching them out in every other bromance movie. Peter and Wade's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Or just like
Bill and Ted.
Wade's World.
mhm.
Hey, there you go.
Peter and Wade go to White Castle.
Peter and Wade escape from Guantanamo Bay.
I could just imagine Spider-Man and Deadpool's like, I want 24 White Castle burgers, 8 large fries,
How come?
and 4
No
large
ice.
Diet Cokes.
And no ice.
Yeah, no
I have
ice.
Definitely
I,
not ice.
I have no idea what the fuck White Castle's like.
Dude,
Yeah,
I like White
delicious.
Castle. It's good.
Neither do I. And I'm in it.
Delicious.
It's
Jalapeno.
delicious.
I
Oh,
didn't up
it's-
you,
it's-
and that was good
it's-
enough for me.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay,
Or
I'm
like
not
if-
waiting for the half-hour mark. I got to get out of this.
It's okay. We understand.
yeah.
Take off the disguise. But
Yep.
anyway, so suffice to say, we are all very passionate about the comics that we enjoy, and I think that it's fair that, hey, you know what, we can get a little pissed off when someone decides to violate our characters in some way or form, like, you know,
Holy
making a character that was previously not a certain way a new way just because, you know, to tick a box, as they say. So
Right.
here's an example: making a black Superman. Now, people are going to say, "Oh my God, are you racist? Oh my God, you're a racist because you don't want to see a black Superman." It's like, okay, look, here's the thing: you have a character in Superman who's been around for a very long time. He has a very long legacy, he has many different iterations. His story's been going for a long time. My question is, instead of making a black Superman, why can't you make a new character that doesn't have to have an S on his chest, who's not from Krypton? And you can say, oh, well, the little story bits are different. Like, he didn't grow up in Kansas or this, and that. It's like, here's the thing. You have a certain character archetype in Superman. He comes from an alien planet. He wears a red cape. He has a giant S on his chest. He's from Krypton. Okay. You have this character, and then you make another character that's just like it, but the defining attribute is that it's a skin color change. And that's like when I talk about Miles Morales, right? And you guys already know my opinions on Miles Morales. I know some people here like Miles Morales. It's okay. It's all right. You can like it. I'm not saying that you can't. It's just there are things about Miles Morales that annoy the fuck out of me to the point where it's like, oh my God, Miles Morales is Spider-Man. It's like,
No,
Anyway,
Miles
I'm-
Morales is Miles Morales, as they
Yes,
say.
he's Miles.
That's
But-
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Mhm.
But you know, they actually did try their shot at getting a black guy to be a Superman type character. It's called Steel, you know, and then they made a movie with Shaq.
For fuck's sakes.
Oh shit.
but look, so I think that first of all, the reason why you have these tokenizations in the first place is to appeal to certain communities. And let's be honest here, with considering where DC is right now, and granted, they haven't been doing too much tokenization, though Birds of Prey is one of the biggest offenders, turning Black Canary in, Black Canary, for example, she's pretty famous for being a blonde. You know, it's kind of like how Mary Jane Watson is famous for being a redhead, blue eyes,
Yeah.
and then they switch her out for Zendaya, and it's like, oh well, that's a different kind of Mary Jane. It's like, but we know who it's supposed to be. She's a photographer. She has the initials MJ. You know what you're doing.
She fills the same fucking role too.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
100%.
And what really is baffling, and you got to really evaluate this, is that if you're only defining attributes for these swaps it's their race or sexuality, like, oh, that's the black Superman, or that's the gay Batman. You see the problem?
It's pretty shallow.
It is.
Like, it's flat and one-dimensional. Like, if that's all you're going to use as the baseline to define a character, well, you're doing it wrong. I mean, it's like they say in Batman Begins. It's what you do that defines you. But to this modern sensibility, that's just like, oh, look, diversity, representation, and inclusion, which are words that I just can't stand anymore because...
Well, they're doing it all wrong anyway.
Exactly. Because, again,
Dude, I know I'm going to sound like a goddamn skipping record because I bring it up every single fucking time we talk about diversity in a cast. You know what movie hit the nail on the head but didn't beat you over the head with its diversity? It's a simple movie that we all know and love. And it's famous here on the channel. It's called Predator. It had an ethnically diverse cast, but you don't remember the characters because Mac's the black guy and so is Dylan and Billy's the Native American. I don't remember them because of those.
No,
You
that's
do it
not
because
why.
of personality and charisma.
Exactly.
And
They're what would you call it? Shit.
Little,
What's that word?
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Traits.
They're traits.
Something along those lines.
Quirks.
Like Matt, quirks.
There
like
you go.
Max dry shaving whenever he's like really hyper tense. Yeah,
or Blaine chewing the tobacco.
Yeah.
Or the fact that Dylan went up against Rocky Balboa in another universe.
Well, that's
right.
Or Dutch with all of his puns.
And he also went up against an alligator and lost a hand. But I also remember Dylan
That's right, too.
because he's the conniving CIA pencil pusher who struggles to recall his military training. And again, the things that these characters do is what you remember them. Even lines of dialogue, like lines like, I ain't got time to bleed, or she's got a big pussy.
Damn, she's got a big pussy. It's because there's an echo.
Bullshit. There is.
Yep.
You always did the Predator laugh.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everything we've said, somebody's going to take it and say, well, we're still racist. And it gets back to...
I was like, what the fuck? Like, I just got here. Like, what? Why am I getting dragged?
He barely even, he hasn't even said anything.
If anyone says
I
that,
just said one fucking word. I was like, why am I racist all of a sudden?
Guilty by association, right?
They're the fucking racists.
But you know what? Here's the thing. It's like we're in a society now where you can't criticize certain things without being labeled something. Like people are literally having to walk on eggshells because, you say one thing that may come off as a certain way, but it's actually not. And suddenly you're blacklisted. And some of us here know about being blacklisted. But, opening up the discussion, I mean, it's so important to get every perspective. That's why it's like, for people that like these tokenized characters, that's why I'm not going to, like for some of our friends, I'm not gonna bust your balls so hard because first of all, you're our friends, and I'm just not. We have a good working relationship. It's just I find it frustrating that you criticize these characters, and rightfully so, because if you're really wanting to do diversity, instead of giving someone sloppy seconds, why don't you give them a whole new dish, right? Because that's how I consider a lot of these tokenizations. I consider Miles Morales to be sloppy second Spider-Man. I consider what they did with Falcon, an original black character. They gave him Captain America and say he's the new Captain America, but that's a demotion. He was his own character. Now he's under the banner of Captain America.
He's in a shadow.
Got him in handcuffs.
Because when you think of Captain America, who do you think of?
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
I mean, that's who was Captain America for years.
As far as I'm concerned, their partnership was a lot more interesting than just simply, you're him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, the
awesome.
only part of that scene in Endgame I like is just when he looks at his wedding ring. It's like, you gonna tell us about her? No, I don't think I will.
Fucking Marvel. I don't want to get off in that rabbit trail because so much has happened with that franchise.
Oh my god!
But so all right.
Phase 4.
Yeah,
what
phase 4. There you go.
They're phasing out.
James Gunn. We all know him. I wouldn't say we all love him. But James Gunn, he did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. I mean,
about to do 3.
Yeah. And for what they were,
We'll see.
I mean, I remember when I first watched them, I found them fairly enjoyable, all things considered. I thought that the cast did a pretty decent job. I didn't have too much of a problem with it. And of course, keep in mind that I did not know the Guardians of the Galaxy in great depth or detail from the comics.
Who
So-
did before that movie came out?
No one did.
No one.
Certainly not
They
me.
they,
but, you
they
know.
were very obscure. They were very obscure characters. It's just
Um,
like, who the fuck are they?
I was working at the theater at the time, and all of us said, "Who the hell are these guys?"
Yeah,
which is why there was a lot of creative liberties taken. And so now we get to him. I would almost say that he's almost taking a sort of Kevin Feige role of DC. And look, I mean, with how DC has gone about for their cinematic universe, I would definitely say that they are in need of a reboot of sorts to kind of get things back on track. It's just, I find it very strange that you would kick off one of the most popular aspects of the old guard that would bank you money for this new reboot to instead say, oh, well, we want to tell a story of a younger Superman in his early years. I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing with that? Where are you going with it?
Don't we have an entire TV series dedicated to that called Smallville?
Oh, but it got wiped out in the multiverse thing, right? For
Oh,
the CW
God.
or something.
Fuck
I never
that.
watched the CW stuff, but I was aware of
Well,
the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline.
You know, well, even during the intro, when you brought up how CW stuff got erased, I'll just say that's a good thing because the CW stuff, well, you know, you got a female character who's just riding off the coattails of a vastly popular male counterpart saying, unironically, might I add, I'm not going to let a man take credit for a woman's work. It's
or
That's basically what
you stole Batman's shit, and you're wondering why people think you're him in his outfit?
the suit is
Hello?
literal perfection. It will be when it fits a woman.
And let's throw in some other, and we'll even toss in some other storylines that just cater to modern sensibilities. Like, oh my God, the people don't know that Batwoman's alter ego is a lesbian. Who cares?
no one
Like,
needed to care about
as a matter
that.
of fact, it's probably better that they don't know because the more the enemy knows about your personal life, they use that as a weapon against you. That is what these superhero
Villain
movies
101.
have always
Exactly.
taught us.
It's
like-
not rocket science.
Ooh,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
like Green Goblin himself says. First, we attack his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he do? He goes after Aunt May just to basically say, guess what? I know who you are. Can Spider-Man come out to play?
Bike messenger knocked me down.
I had to attack an old lady for these cranberries.
Had to beat an old lady with a stick to get
Stick.
these.
Yeah. There's one thing I would. Sorry, the reason I was doing this is because I wanted to express another form of tokenization.
Mm-hmm.
It was the now I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. The
Who cares?
2017 adaptation of Power Rangers.
What?
Yeah.
Tokenization.
How?
Okay. Like.
Explain.
Okay. And now we're going back. Let's travel back to the 90s. Okay. That in the show, there are 5 teenagers with attitude. Okay. They are recruited. They don't find a spaceship or they don't go to an abandoned rock quarry. And this happens. They are chosen because, some dumb astronauts open the space dumpster, releasing Rita Repulsa. And she's not. And in the movie, like, there's a lot of difference in it. And not to mention the tokenization of the 5 main leads, though. Like Billy Cranston, Zach Taylor, and Trini Kwan. Trini Kwan. There's 3 major tokenizations. Billy is actually white and he wears glasses. In the movie, he's black and he's on the spectrum. Zach Taylor or Zach Thomas, I think. Anyway, Zach Taylor, show African American and he loves dancing. In the movie, he's Asian descent and he lives in a trailer park and he skips school. Trini Kwan in show, she's of Asian descent and she knows martial arts. And the movie, she's actually a loner that's been transferred to a couple schools. And that's it, though. And not to it's just don't if you're
Well, you know what? I got to interject this because Carter does bring up an important point.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that people, if they do listen to us they don't hear us say often, because oftentimes when we talk about tokenization, it's usually only in one direction, from white to whatever other one. But tokenization can happen in any form, and it doesn't have to do with just sexuality. It can do or with race. It can be with sexuality as well.
In gender.
For example, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Namor. I was annoyed.
I don't know anything about these characters.
It's okay.
I don't know
It's
them
all
either.
right. I'll fill in the gaps a little bit. Okay, the original version of Namor in the comics, he wasn't Aztec, or he wasn't South American. In this movie, they decided to make him and they go so far as one of the producers of Disney or Marvel. She keeps on speaking in the Spanish language, calling him Namor. Namor. I'm seeing this interview. She said Namor. It's like, okay, Namor was from Roman mythology. That's where the character is rooted in Roman mythology, and because it came from Atlantis. Well, last time I checked, Atlantis wasn't supposedly in the South American region. In fact, it was much closer to
Greece and Italy.
So it gets annoying because it happens so much now, and it's showing unoriginality. That's one of the big things. It's unoriginal. Say what you want about liking the characters. It doesn't change the fact that you have multiple versions of the same character being given to us as if it's new. When it's not new, it's, like I said before, sloppy seconds.
And you're expected to like it simply because of the identity politics card they always like to take at us.
Right.
And that is a problem. And how we have devolved, like where it comes, like how people are being unfairly judged simply because of their opinion of a movie that just happens to have this cast of evil.
Right.
Like you could be labeled a racist simply because you didn't like the Black Panther movies. You could be labeled a sexist because you didn't like a female-led superhero movie, which that certainly wasn't the case back in the early 2000s when you were getting shit like Catwoman and Elektra. Now, was it? But I blame social media for this because it has it's got up here. It has lowered the average IQ of so many people.
So really quick,
it's so simple to them.
So really quick, Kyle has to go now.
Yeah, I gotta go though, but thanks for having me. I would love to stay here and say what I also had to say, but thanks for having me. You go enjoy with you guys' show, and I'll see you guys after the stream later on. So.
Yep. Well, you have a good time, man, on your other stream there.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you, Kyle.
See you
later.
Sorry. So go ahead and continue if you could, please.
I think I might have been done.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, but I'm sorry, but like I said though, like stick to the source material. And I know that, like, when the first time I saw the trailer, I was a little disgusted. I was on the ropes that, like, I know that this was going to be a bad movie.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, 2017 reboot. I was on the fence, knowing this was going to be bad. And
was it bad though?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I quite enjoyed it.
I did too.
Okay.
Because of how different it was.
Like, and to be honest though, I sort of liked it. I was on the fence of like hating it, but then once I saw it though, I kind of shut up about that and like I changed my tune a bit.
Personally, I was actually laughing my ass off in the theater with Carter because now full disclosure, I did watch Power Rangers when I was younger, but for some reason, and I think it had to do with Carter. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what, but it had to do with Carter. And when you had the big moment where the Power Rangers theme started playing, when all the mechs, started running, I started laughing my ass off. And I think I remember saying something along the lines of, "This is cringy as fuck."
Dude.
And then Carter, and I think it also had to do with Carter's reaction. See, because Carter has these reactions when we watch movies sometimes. Like, I'll give you a quick little story. And this is kind of going on a sidetrack, but it's important.
Before you say that, if people really want to know, just go watch our watch-alongs.
Yep.
That is true.
Oh, did y'all do a watch-along for 2017?
No, not yet.
No.
We need to.
No.
We'll do that someday.
Oh,
yeah.
Danner,
you are more than welcome for that.
You're welcome to join us as well.
Yeah, because I really do enjoy that movie. And I got a thought after Caleb tells his story.
And one more thing, just we should also do the 1995 movie someday. And I would like to have Chris on board for that too, because since he's kind of put YouTube on the back burner, and with Just Us League, it's like, well, that was on the schedule, wasn't it? And I was saying, when you get to Power Rangers, give me a call.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll be happy to join as well.
Hey, you never know. We might do a like for my birthday week that we did. We can do that as the potential for next year. How about that? Just in case.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
but I'll have all sorts of ideas.
Well, there's a lot that we could do.
Okay, story time.
So, there is a little movie that I assume that most of us are familiar with called Lights Out.
Oh, God.
A very interesting horror movie. A movie I actually really enjoyed. It was a pretty good movie. I was kind of surprised, but I have a very specific memory of that movie because me and Carter, accompanied by my father and some friends from school, we went to see Lights Out. I think it was opening night. It was like It was Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So you had a whole bunch of teens there, adolescent teens screaming their lights out over a bump in the night in the movie. Right. Mm-hmm. It got to a point in the movie where one of the characters was going up the stairway in the house, and this is in the climax of the film. And it was a very quiet moment where the character was slowly walking up the stairs, and the tension was obviously building. The typical horror stuff. So Carter has this genius idea of screaming. What did you say, Carter?
Bitch, turn the fuck around. She's right behind you. Because that motherfucker was creeping up, literally right up on her.
He said something along the lines of, turn the fuck around, bitch.
Turn the fuck around. Turn the fuck
around,
bitch.
Everybody was quiet, okay? And then he says this. It's quiet. The movie is quiet. The audience is quiet. He randomly blurts this shit out, and everybody broke into laughter. Everybody in the theater just broke out laughing.
It was like that.
Rightfully so.
It was like that scene at a scary movie. When Brenda is like, don't go in there. It was like that.
But did everyone revolt and start stabbing you?
Nope, they actually.
And did you have some bring in some fried chicken with you?
No.
Well, considering that Carter likes to bring a buffet to the movie theater every time we go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that
was just a quick little side thing.
Oh, you were talking about the cringy part of the 2017 Power Rangers.
Yeah. So I was just kind of laughing my ass off, and again, I was a Power Rangers watcher as a child. I haven't seen Power Rangers. I haven't had interest in Power Rangers in so long, but just hearing Carter's reaction, I was just I was laughing my ass off. And then I started laughing when the Zords came in. I'm like, I'm gonna laugh.
Now let me.
I thought that was a good thing. So
yeah.
Well,
crucify me.
Well, let me bring something up about because that's when the theme starts playing, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
from 95.
Yeah, I do have a problem though because on the Blu-ray menu, and it's also in the end credits. There's this heavily orchestrated version of Go-Go Power Rangers. It's very Avengers-like.
Oh.
And originally, they wanted it to play for that scene, but then they're like, nah, we need some nostalgia hook right there.
Mm-hmm.
But they could have used that when the Megazord rises from the ground. That would have been awesome. Like I said, if you just go on the DVD or Blu-ray menu, just listen to that. It's like, why wasn't this in the fucking movie? But even when I still kind of counter your whole tokenization of the cast, though, because personally, I've never cared, especially when it comes to Power Rangers, because it's always been a diverse cast ethnically. Every single time. It's always been like that.
The only question is Carter referring to specific characters? Because remember, the definition of tokenization is when you have a character of, for example, if they turn Clark Kent as we know him and they turn him black. That's a basic example, but that's a tokenization.
But I'm saying, though, the Power Rangers are, I'm just going to say it, they're not quite at the same level as, the greats, like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
They're not quite there. So, for me, I think it is okay, interchangeable enough. And I'll say Billy in the new movie was the standout.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned. I mean, him and Jason.
No, I agree.
Remember this, and this is something that I have stated before, that whether or not you like it, it doesn't change the fact that it's a tokenization. And again, I say this, that you can like the tokenized characters. If you think they work better, that's fine. It's just by the definition, or at least how I've sort of adopted the term tokenization. Yes. And again, look, I am not well versed in Power Rangers, so I can't speak on it 100%. So that there is that.
I understand. I understand. I do.
Yeah,
So-
and
but-
I was going to bring up my point, but it's like been listening to you guys and kind of like how you think. That's why I haven't been saying a lot. I'm just kind of learning from you guys. But something I've kind of been like noticing, just formulating an opinion here.
Mhm.
Carter brings up an excellent point. The Black Ranger is not black. He is what'd you say, Carter? Asian, correct?
Asian.
Yeah, Asian, and all that. Which great notice right there. And you know what? That's to me a small change, and kind of like what I've been learning, even with like the whole
And
James Gunn and his
Billy is
approach
black,
with-
and Trini is.
Okay,
Yes.
Carter. But
Sorry.
let Bert continue, okay? Because
Sorry,
he's really
sorry.
going.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Like again, clarification and all that, and kind of like with James Gunn, like getting rid of Henry Cavil, wanting a new Superman, just want to take a whole direction. And how about y'all talk about like keep to the originality of the product, but make it your own way. So that's kind of like my kind of comparison here. There's more than one way to get to the math answer of 44. You could take many different routes, but as long as you still get to 44, that's all that matters. So with Power Rangers, it doesn't matter if you switch the ethnicity of each character, as long as they still stay true to the Power Rangers. They were still 5. They were still the same character, or like the colors. They were still the same Megazords, but you kind of alter them up a little bit. You still have Rita. You alter her up a little bit. Godar, which
You make
I'll
her
admit,
hot.
I hated Godar in 2017. I hated
Yeah.
Godar. I wish they would have done something else. But you know what? I understand it because they, again, just want to do something different to get a different audience, because the audience from today is different from the audience in 95. So you got to do something different to stand out. So as long as you get to my point is, as long as you get to 44, I don't care how you get there, and I can respect each direction to get to 44.
You know, since we're still talking about the 2017 Power Rangers movie, and I still kind of hate to bring it up because it's still been we're still kind of reeling from it.
Yeah.
I think it was a missed opportunity because I think I brought this up last time, but Bert
Yeah,
wasn't here for this. But Jason David Frank's cameo, like I think him and Amy Jo deserve better than just simply pulling out their phones and taking
Oh yeah.
pictures. Oh, nice.
I have those. I have green,
Great.
white,
Very
and
nice.
But like I was saying, though, he should have played the detention teacher. And then when we get to that mid-credit scene where the teacher's going, Tommy Oliver, and if that was Jason David Frank playing that character, calling for his name, that would have been funny. And considering that Tommy did become a teacher in Power Rangers Dino Thunder, yeah, that would have been a nice little wink,
But
wink.
would it be too corny, though? Like, say, for example, if who I'm trying to remember the actor who played the Red Ranger, but I just know he was Jason as the character.
Austin St. John. Yeah.
Yeah,
him.
if that actor was like the parent of the actual Red Ranger in the movie, would that have been too cringe or too
No,
forced? Like,
it would have
I
been
feel like that
awesome.
could be like and same thing with Amy Jo Johnson. If she was the mother of the Pink Ranger, like kind of like, or actually you can make her the parent of the Red Ranger. Like, wouldn't that be like that would have been to me? I agree that cameo in 2017 could have done better, but it was still nice. Like, hey, at least they were still in it doing something or doing something little. But like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. They could have done more with that.
Yeah.
But even when you're talking about Austin St. John playing the dad, it's like even when you look at the dad in this movie, he looks like him.
Almost.
Like he really kind of looks like him. He even sounds like him and everything. Like their demeanor is very similar. It's like, yeah, why isn't Austin playing this guy?
I know, right?
But and I need to kind of go back to the whole race and color thing when it comes to Power Rangers. Have you noticed that ever since Zach got replaced by Adam, they have never made a black guy the Black Ranger again?
Except for Operation Overdrive.
He was black?
Yeah, he was.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh,
spoilers. I'm still on SPD. But obviously, for the most part, they were like, oh, yeah, that's a bit politically incorrect. I mean, College Humor even did a whole skit about that.
Oh, my God, I love that
race
one.
with Rangers.
Yeah, where fucking Zordon's just assigning every Ranger their color based on their race. To the point where one's like, hey, wait, Red Ranger, I'm Native American.
Yeah, that's why. And plus, like, I'm not really kind of a leader. Like, he's easily the leader. Like, he's the leader of student council and all that. Nope, he is exactly where he needs to be. But
Yeah, and he points out that the Green Ranger is a gay Jew. He's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
He
fuck.
gets rid of him because he's a gay Jew. It's like,
oh
holy
my God. But,
I mean, that's when college humor was funny because nowadays you can't get away with that shit,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
not to
It's,
mention
no.
the
Wolfenstein.
political correctness is killing comedy.
exactly.
Killing a lot of things, actually.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean,
Comedy's
we
the worst
complain-
victim, in my opinion.
Gonna get canceled, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Don't bring
I know.
that movie up. I
I
offered.
did bring it up. You brought it up.
I didn't. You referenced the line, but since you did bring it up, I mean, we got Netflix recently. My mom's out there watching it right now, so I even told her it's like, hey, you want to watch the Texas Chainsaw on Netflix?
oh,
Don't
fuck.
put her for that.
No,
Don't put her for that.
I
no,
would.
no.
She couldn't even finish the original, but she couldn't finish the original for the right reasons. Like she couldn't finish the original because it terrified her.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's understandable.
Totally.
Just for the love of God, don't show her the 20. Don't show her the new one. I mean,
that.
Or,
Can I?
or
Can I?
2017 or
Can I just show her the last scene where she gets her head cut off? I mean,
kind of disturbed me. Like,
I laughed my ass off. Okay, like that just
It-
looks hilarious.
it was stupid. And then seeing the head just go off, it was kind of disturbing. I'm like, that kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable, especially considering that fucking Leatherface should be deader than a doornail on Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it bugged
Why
me.
does it make
'Cause-
sense? I don't know, but
It bugged me
Yeah.
because when he brings down the chainsaw, you can just see how they digitally stretched her neck. It's like, oh, that
kind of
just
like a
looks
smile,
terrible.
like the creature
Oh,
in Smile, just the
God,
way it's
fuck that.
stretched and shit.
Ooh.
No.
Well, I don't know.
This
What'd
is
you?
better than that
I don't know.
movie.
What did you guys think of that movie?
I fucking hated that movie, and it was creepy as fuck.
Oh, so you ate it.
I love how he
because
said
scared
said
you.
it so fast. He's like, he's very firm in his belief. It fucking sucks, and it was creepy.
it was like he was begging for somebody to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
He
But,
must have been.
Not to mention that fucking scene where she does this, though. I was like, "Oh, bitch, no, no, bitch,
Oh,
no,
the
get
head
away from me."
twist to the car.
Okay.
Dude,
Okay. Seriously,
quit
you
signing
are. Sorry, I'm sorry. If Carter is gonna die at any point, he is gonna die like Brenda in Scary Movie. He is. Considering that's his reaction, he sounds like the sassy black chick in a bad comedy.
I'm
not-
no,
I
no,
didn't-
no, no,
I'm not
no,
saying
no,
Scary
no.
Movie's bad. I'm just saying it's a bit stereotypical.
Yeah, but to be honest, at least I won't spoil the movie for anybody. Where it's to the point where I get stabbed.
Shakespeare in love.
Hey, you spoiled Gremlins for Bert here, so
Yeah, I was
don't
like,
count yourself out too much yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like we got to be aware. If we ever watch a movie with Brett and Carter's in with us, we have to make sure that we duct tape Carter's mouth just to make sure
or
he
to
doesn't
make sure it's a
spoil it.
movie I've seen.
Or just mute him. You have the power.
That's
Oh,
true,
yeah.
but somehow he can still unmute himself.
Oh goddamn! But
Isn't that weird? Maybe a little
I do.
bit.
I do have a
I'm
question.
from Holland. Isn't that weird?
Yes,
Oh, you are doit like
Toy
a
like
toy
a
gun.
tiger. Push the bumper.
Wait, was your because you did a watch along for Christmas Vacation recently?
Yes, we did.
Was that your first time watch? Because I wasn't.
No,
even
that was
sure.
like my third time watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Still-
So you're
still a
okay. You're
classic.
okay. No heart attacks will be happening tonight with Danner. So
Are you sure about that? Because I came pretty close.
yeah, man. But shoot. Like with James Gunn, like I know like he's not everybody's first choice. Like he's certainly not my first choice. My first choice was Zack Snyder for me, just because I like Marvel being as it is, but DC could have been a nice alternative, like just to go more towards the darker route, like like pleasing two fan bases. Pretty much. I just want to ask you guys, who would you all be the lead of the DC universe if not James Gunn?
Fuck.
Because I don't personally have a problem with James Gunn taking over, because again, look what he did with Guardians. Like Guardians was like an unknown property, or nobody really knew about them, but now they're like one of the most popular things in the MCU, and it's already on his third movie and last movie from what I understood and all that. And he knows how to work multiple characters and all that. So I do like it, but I kind of like agree with you guys. I don't like his mindset, like all of his mindset, not like sticking to the original lore of things. As long as he just gets the basis down, I'm okay with it. But yeah, it should be more focused on, especially when you're about to enter a new reboot where you have the opportunity to explore that lore and just to do more with it. So
Well,
that's why I
I'll
just want to get y'all's like mindset about that.
I'll say this, that I have no doubt that there are going to be things that James Gunn does that it's going to be good, or it's going to be accepted. It's going to be popular.
I
And
mean,
there might be some things that I like. It's just my problem is that he's already sort of attacked the fans. If you look on Twitter, and that was actually part of the intro of this video, where he was talking about a small vocal minority, which is a term that I've heard several times that has been used to describe people that haven't liked certain things that have come out from a
Like
lot
the
of pop
truckers.
culture. Yeah, for example.
So, slight political commentary there. Couldn't
Right.
help it.
Yep. But like, can you blame him though? Because like, ever since he got announced that he's the head of the DCEU, fans have been hammering him over and over again, saying, "Hey, you should do this, you should do that." It's like, guys, shut the fuck up. I got an idea. Just enjoy the ride. If you don't like it, fine, you don't like it. But like, I'm just at least creating my vision of it. Just calm your tits.
I do think people need to calm down. Like, whatever the
They
whole the fire James Gunn thing, it's like, whoa, take it easy. I mean, like, I know we're upset. We have every fucking right to be, and I understand.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. It's not a toxicity problem. It's a passion problem. But sometimes a heated passion, if you touch the right subject with us, kind of like Power Rangers from earlier, like if you touch it, we will kind of almost turn toxic in a way. So it is more personality, but if they ain't careful, this can easily turn toxic for the DC fans.
Well, let me say this, that a lot of what we're seeing is internet culture. And if you really want to point out problems, and look, here's the thing. This is a baseline for everybody to understand. This is the internet, where anybody who's anybody will be an asshole for any reason they want. And if you, the person that is going to be taking the reins of a very popular franchise, in this case DC, is getting offended or triggered by people on the internet that are being mean to you, essentially. I mean, why are you letting it bother you, for one thing? Look, take the positivity that is in these fandoms and apply that to what you're doing, because there's nothing wrong with listening to fan feedback. You obviously have your goals.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with YouTubing as well. If you let that one commenter like freaking offend you or let it bother you, you're fucked, buddy. Like, because there's no going back after that. That's why you got to keep moving forward with it and just laugh it off.
Embrace it in a way, because I'll bring it up again, because like Caleb She-Hulk review, like, not only is that obviously our biggest video on the channel, but we were celebrating the hate comments. We were like, holy shit, we got our first hate comment.
It's awesome.
And, I mean, I can
1,000
say
views, man.
on one level, I can look at them and just like, you guys are so fucking pathetic. Like, you're using the exact terms that where it's like, it's like you have no credibility when you say shit like, get out of your mom's basement, go touch grass. There was a literal comment that said that.
Man, like, what can I say? I like it.
I also like to be the prick, because like I'll respond to them in a way but I respond in a way where I can just say, you're not getting to us. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. Actually, I'm not sorry, because like says you need to get out of your mom's basement and touch grass. Caleb replies, well, I don't have a basement to get out of. And then
sadly, I don't have a basement to get out of.
and then I jump in the ring and say, we don't touch grass, we smoke it. and then we pin my comment just basically saying thank you all for all of your feedback, positive and negative. You're really helping us out. We are benefiting from your negative comments.
And here's a secret. Here's a secret. When you reply or give a thumbs down, like you think you're hurting us, you're helping us by interacting. So thank you.
That's how the algorithm works.
So please bring it upon. Now, of course, I mean, so anyway, so back to James Gunn.
I'm sorry.
What's up, Carter?
Sorry to answer your question. Who would I I would have chose someone to to the person I would have chose to film like or direct a new Superman movie or I'm somewhat on the fence about this. I would have chosen Makoto Kamaya. How do you
What's he directed?
Kumbaya, my lord.
No, Kamiya. I think that's the name. Kamiya.
Kamehameha?
No, Makoto
No, not the
Kamiya.
Kamehameha. The Kamehameha does a drill.
Yeah, Makoto Kamiya. He directed Resident Evil Degeneration, which is basically Sony Pictures Entertainment Japan adaptation of a Resident Evil film.
That seems I don't know if it's just me.
Random?
Is that
like you know how like Final Fantasy does like they do games,
but here's the
they
thing:
come out and do these movies.
You're going based off of things that you've seen, and that's fine. It's just think about how, like Kevin Feige, even though he's gone down in my estimation as far as having good content and controlling your universe. What Brett is asking is for someone who would we want to have for someone to take the reins of an entire franchise and guide it.
Who's the
in a
Kevin
certain
Feige
direction.
of the DCU? Yeah. It's just kind of like with Carter. Like, where do you say where that director was from? Kind of like the Chinese or Japanese market.
I'm guessing Japanese.
Japanese.
Capcom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Disney's
that's
the
great
Chinese market.
for the Japanese market, but for the American market, I don't think that would work at all because not a lot of people will like know the work and all that without making the name in America.
Well,
so that's my only like downfall to that idea. But like when you mention Final Fantasy is great because they could tell stories and all that, and that's in my opinion what we need more of is stories. Just to answer your question, like a good idea, like in the Japanese kind of like market, but for the American market, I don't think that would work.
Yeah, but to be honest, yeah, because in that episode of the War in Pop Culture, the Japanese industry in manga is literally bombing American comics. Like,
I mean, the American comic
is.
sales. If you look at the numbers, the comic sales are down for American comics because I mean, like especially for like Marvel and DC, like the nail in the coffin was when they decided to make superhero characters based on internet memes.
Yeah, that was the fucking nail in the coffin.
Safe space. I mean. And look, they tried to market it as a legitimate superhero comic. Or when they made Starfire's daughter this overweight goth girl and said, "I'm not my mother." It's like, yeah, we can fucking tell. And they were feeding into a culture that is not even really a culture. It's just a small group of people that they're trying to appeal to. Because when you have, whether it's tokenization or when you have specific plot lines or character motivations that are founded in a sort of political messaging, they're not doing it to tell an entertaining story. That's one of the most important things to remember, is that they're no longer making things to entertain people. They're making things to appeal to these, what I would call normies, that they're not supporting the product. In the end,
don't.
They're the people that don't go to the comic shops every Wednesday to pick up the new issue of whatever superhero comic you're reading. They're not the dedicated fans.
But they still have the gall to go on their fucking Twitter or their Tumblr, wherever the fuck they want to use, and still they'll tweet all about these stuff like fucking Safe Space and Snowflake. Like they'll tweet about that shit, but will they actually go out and support it? No, they will not. But they will still have the gall to call you a terrible person for simply not liking it or rejecting it. It's like, how about like stop undermining our intelligence in a way, because sometimes we just know what's bad when we see it, even before we get a chance to fully experience it. I mean, I know there's the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge a movie by its trailer, unless it's Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah, fuck that movie.
Just to go back to Bert's question, who would I want to helm? Well, I know who I wouldn't want it to helm the DCEU, and that would be Paul Feig, because
fuck that guy with a chainsaw. Fuck him.
Texas Chainsaw 2022 style.
or Shane Black even.
That's even worse. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
But,
Well,
But yeah,
while
to
we're
go with
at it-
Caleb. To go with Caleb, the never comparison I would do is I'm a wrestling fan, and it frustrates me. WWE always pertains to the children versus the actual adult fans and all that. So I could kind of see that comparison a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember the old days of WWE where there were boobs popping out every other week.
Titties.
For example,
Oh, dude, it's so
Stone Cold
different
Steve
now.
Austin just
why?
Eh.
Man, why stop there and just go back all the way to WWF? I remember being 4 years old and seeing those really weird interviews with The Undertaker where he's in the shadows. I remember seeing those as a kid. I'm like, what is this? This is awesome.
Yep.
Well, as horror fans, seeing the Undertaker, I mean, that's like a dream come true. It's like having this
fucking
creepy
Kane.
wrestler. Yeah. I mean,
And Mankind.
the storylines that they had back then, but
Mankind.
it shows it shows the change in culture, and it's generation. It's a generation thing as well, because the WWE of today, like that's why I stopped watching. You ask my dad. We watched WWE religiously, like back when Nexus was a thing.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I mean, we go back that far, and after that, I mean, like, I remember it. I remember when Nexus surrounded the Undertaker. I was like, holy shit! And I was hoping that Undertaker would have just dominated them because he's like the Undertaker. But then they took him out. I was like, God damn it!
Yeah, they had to so they can raise the Nexus as a credible threat and all that.
Right.
So yeah, and that's again going back to like I'm saying Power Rangers where wait shit give me a minute. I just lost my train of thought. Don't you hate that happens?
Yeah.
You got your thought ready and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I know
shit.
all too well.
Yeah. Also, like to be honest.
Okay, sorry. I got it back. Sorry, I got it back. Kind of like we were saying with the Power Rangers in 2017, because again, it is a different audience back then it was in the early 90s and all that. That's why you have to change it up. Again, keep the lore of the subject matter, but you are allowed to mix it up to pertain to your certain audience.
Right.
But even some of the changes, though. Oh, were you not done?
Oh, I don't agree with all the changes, but I agree with some of them.
Like how they find a spaceship and the power point in the mind. That's stupid.
like that to me makes more sense.
It does to me too. But you know what I don't like though? There is I loved Alpha in that movie. I don't give a shit. Bill Hader was great, but I thought his was perfect. But what I didn't like is there's this little area in the cave which is just essentially a garage for the Zords. Like, because the moments in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when they would say we need dinosaur power now, or we get the shots of like the Tyrannosaurus rising.
Right, damn it. We need dinosaur power now.
Yeah. And
put your hands up, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I stopped there. Hang on.
We need dinosaur power now.
Okay, this is the part where I just freaking embarrassed him on this channel for his Power Ranger, and now he's fucking about to rub in my face with that badass motherfucking flute. Damn it. Okay, I'm out here, you motherfuckers.
Shit, I gotta pull out something.
I said, Caleb, don't pull out your flute too.
No, I don't have a flute. Damn it, I don't have anything. Wait.
I'm just saying.
Amazon.
Oh,
Amazon.
Fuck. Oh, fuck you. But
I have an Amazon card.
But anyway, back to the whole summoning the Zords back then. Like, those were epic moments. Like, seeing Tyrannosaurus rising from the ground. Mastodon in the Arctic, like all that shit. Those moments, like
Pterodactyl in the volcano.
Like, yeah, even though those are like fucking, they're like models or guys in suits, which depending on how you look at them, but
some of the footage,
but even for
Japan.
Yeah, I know a lot of it, like Super Sentai, but even for a team.
I'm sorry, did you say Super Hentai?
Sentai.
Sentai. That's the Japanese version, but
it's a freaking joke. I'm sorry.
But anyway, even though this is a kid show we're talking about here, but even with the Zords, when they rise, there was a scale in how they were shot. You felt the weight of those scenes. Like when you get like that little undershot of T-Rex rising, roaring, it's like, holy shit. You get the sense he's gigantic. Or even Dragon Zord rising from the
the
fucking
wa-
river and taking
the
a
water.
smokestack and just he munches on a fucking smokestack, for God's sakes.
Yeah, not to mention he sort of moved like Godzilla almost.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
you know, I mean, it came
He's
from
based
Japan,
on
and
Godzilla.
Oh, I thought it was Mecha Godzilla.
Well, loosely based.
Okay, Mecha Godzilla, based off of Godzilla.
It's just a step by step.
Since everybody
but
wants to
again,
show off their stuff,
Yeah.
there. This is something DC related. Lego Batmobile.
Well, in my defense, Bert is always showing something off that I'm jealous of, and that's those goddamn silver shamrock masks right there.
Shit, man.
Hey,
that-
you could
that
get
Michael
you
Myers
could get them
mask.
on Amazon for like $50 to $60 each.
Well, I'll wait till next Halloween. But
Yeah.
Not to mention Caleb's Michael Myers mask.
well,
He's
yeah.
got that.
Or
Oh,
even that cardboard cutout
Oh, hell yeah.
of someone who was unfairly treated by a certain corporation we hate.
Oh yeah, that was me. I gave that to him.
That was awesome.
She proudly watches over me as we stream.
Yep.
But I don't know, just to see all the Zords in like a garage, that's fucking lame. Even Austin St. John referred to the Zords themselves as chia pets, and even saying like, man, our Zords fucking towered over skyscrapers and not just 2-story coffee shops. And yeah, the
Krispy
design.
Kreme product placement.
I was not the biggest fan of how the Zords looked either.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't either, but
like, okay, well, let me tell you this: if Power Rangers was set in Canada, the product placement will be Tim Hortons, because it's Canada. It's Canada.
Mr. Canada up there. He's got
Mr. Canada.
We got
Okay.
poutine.
All right, but DC's Kevin Feige. Who is it, y'all? I was like, now I'm interested. I gave you all time to build
Yeah,
up for all this.
yeah.
So I got to know.
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know too many producers or creators in that sense who I would have. I mean, maybe if I think if the Star Wars prequels have taught us anything, is that having one person with all the power may not be the wisest choice. Maybe have 1 to 3 people, maybe 2, maybe you just need 2 to be able to just kind of have a balance. I mean, I would like Christopher Nolan maybe, because I did enjoy
Yeah, that's
the
true.
the first 2
Damn good choice.
the first of the Dark Knight, the first 2 of the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dark Knight Rises is all right, but let's be honest,
Yeah,
there's it has some issues.
It
That one's
has the
grown
most
on me.
issues. Really?
I mean, I'm going to be honest.
It has great in it, but
yeah,
most of it is just like, for that one, that's always dwindled a bit for me. I mean, like the Batman versus Bane fight, I still love it, but I still wish, I will always stand by this, when he returns to Gotham, he should have been that original Batman Begins outfit, because
I agree.
that would have been a lot more fitting to fight
And-
someone physically imposing like Bane.
Yep.
Yeah, and it would make sense in a way, because we see that Batman's mask for his new costume it gets broken. And obviously, okay, it's like, okay, logistically, he had multiple different suits, but for the sake of a callback, being that it was a planned trilogy and the story wasn't going to continue after that, it would have been nice to have it all circle back. I mean, fuck, dude, they brought Ra's al Ghul back in a vision form. It's like to have a nice little callback to that. Anyway, so that's why I would choose, at least as one person, Christopher Nolan, because he does know how to make some pretty darn good films.
Oh,
And just know that the third one would have been a lot more successful if Heath Ledger was still with us at the time, because they had all the plans in the world to bring back the Joker, and it also would have benefited that last Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, into 2 movies. The first movie be where Batman falls, and the second movie, that's what you call it, Batman or the Dark Knight Rises, as it rises in the final act.
Yeah, Cody Leach actually did talk about that before, like saying that part 1 would end with like when all the inmates are released, we're following this one out and then pan
Batman
around.
broken and the city destroyed.
Yeah, and then we pan around this one inmate, and it's the Joker, and he's
Oh,
just
that would've been the
relishing.
perfect
He's
shot.
he's just relishing in the ensuing chaos. Just
Chaos.
And it would be like how Avengers Infinity War ended, where the
Mhm.
heroes didn't win. It would be one of those movies that it subverts expectations properly.
Oh,
Speaking of which, let me bring that up now that you mentioned it.
oh.
Uh-oh.
I would like to retract. Sorry, I would like to retract my statement about Makoto Kamiyama, whatever her name is, whatever his
Kumbaya,
name
my
is.
lord.
Wanna Leia?
Anyway, I would have chosen Martin Campbell.
Mm.
Martin Campbell. He's the director. He did
Casino
the Mask,
Royale.
the Mask of Zorro, the Legend of Zorro, Memoir.
Ew, Legend of Zorro. Don't talk about the Legend of Zorro.
Sorry,
You
scratch
leave
that.
Andrea
movie's awful.
Banderas alone, bastard. You leave him alone up there.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas. Sorry, Danner gets me so just mad. He makes me freaking just misuse my words.
Yeah.
What's up, J-Man?
J-Man,
What did I do? What did I do?
And
what's going
Goldeneye.
on,
You know
man?
what you did.
Addy.
What? That I
Hey,
bashed,
look, everyone,
I bashed
it's
the second Zorro movie?
Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
well,
like that
okay,
either.
okay. You can have the second one, but don't you touch my first one.
I love the first one.
First one's awesome.
Hell
I
yeah.
of course
hate
the first one is awesome.
I didn't like. I'll tell you right now. I didn't finish the second one.
Me
When it
neither.
got
watched the second one.
when it got to that scene where the kid is fighting his teacher with a goddamn ruler, I turned it off. First movie's great, and also yes, Martin Campbell rebooted James Bond successfully, might I add, with two of the best Bond movies in my
Goldeneye,
opinion.
Okay,
Casino Royale.
I'm all for supportive for that pick now. So yeah, I've totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
It's just too bad that the Daniel Craig Bonds they went downhill.
Yeah.
Casino Royale was decent, but after
you
that,
watch yourself up
he
there.
disagrees. He disagrees.
that will have to be like a slash it out for a franchise because
Best
with
Bond origin story series ever.
the way it ended, though, I like out of all. First of all, they kill off James Bond. That was the first time they ever killed off James Bond. And the way they did it, it wasn't a very heroic death at all. It wasn't him saving the world from a giant bomb that was going to go off. It was literally him protecting his love because, oh my God, I got the sickness. And if I get close to her, then she's going to get sick and dies. So I stay on the island and die for no good reason. That is
Staying
not
on an
James
island?
Bond.
Staying on an island to die? Who does that sound like? You know who I'm talking about because I was about to bring the movie up already, so we might as well just get into it. Movie that should have ended on a dark note and got us hooked for the next movie. It's a little movie that's a total piece of shit called The Last Jedi.
Oh God! Fuck
Because
that movie.
because you know what?
Oh my God!
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
Shit.
Just when you thought it was safe to think about Star Wars again. Damn it, Danner!
When was it ever safe? Ever since those movies came out.
It's never.
But,
I assume this show was never safe. So
yeah.
That is true.
But
Yeah.
but
Good
yeah.
point.
But like I
even-
said, though, Martin Campbell, perfect choice.
But yeah, anyway, but how that could have ended with a note that ends on a dark note, but has you just tingling with anticipation for what comes next. All you had to do were two things in The Last Jedi. One, don't kill Luke, or at least when he is Luke, because by the end it's like, okay, he's starting to be Luke Skywalker redeeming himself, despite being a sad old hermit who
Gets a
just
headache
isn't.
and dies.
Yeah, just isn't Luke Skywalker at all.
Jake
Have
Skywalker.
him
Gets a headache
survive
and dies.
because having him in the next movie could have really benefited that trilogy overall. We all know
race
it would.
ticket sales.
Oh fuck yeah! And the other one, have Rey turn to the fucking dark side.
What
Like-
a twist!
What a twist. And end it on that note. Like end it on a dark note with her like standing by Kylo Ren's side, and like
Yeah,
I don't
except
know,
the handshake.
And no, don't have her handshake. They could just be stand side by side, get a little close up of Rey and her eyes flare up red like a Sith. And of course, you'd have to develop this as the movie goes on, like because again, they developed that too little, too late when she summons lightning in the Rise of Skywalker. If they did something like that in The Last Jedi And by the way, the certain character that gets zapped actually dies. Sorry, I got to go with this. If she did that and Chewie died for real, that could have been it. And I would have been fine.
amazing.
I would have been okay with Chewie dying. And here's why. He's just not the same without Han Solo. He's not.
Mhm.
Especially in these movies where he gets thrown into the fucking background by the last movie, where it's like, he has no reason to be here.
Or like in The Force Awakens, where instead of going to hug Chewbacca, her friend for how many years after Han dies, she goes to hug Rey instead, and just Chewbacca just walks right by her as if, oh yeah, sup, good to see you again, I'm still alive. Oh wait, you're going for the girl.
Okay, first he doesn't get a medal, and now he gets shunned by a friend of his. What?
That's
poor bastard. Poor walking carpet.
It's bullshit, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But again, I stand by it. I think had they gone that route, like that would have been a better way of subverting expectations as opposed to just playing a bunch of gotcha gags like they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it could have been great too, like kind of like you say, like go the back and forth between light side actions and dark side actions, and you kind of build that whole anticipation throughout the whole movie. Which side is she going to choose?
Yeah,
and that keeps you invested until the third act and everything. So
Well, see,
that's a great idea.
Here's the thing. The Force Awakens could have set up the whole Rey Palpatine thing really well. In fact, I would say that they were hinting at it. I don't care what anyone in the commentary said, because they were saying, oh, something about, oh, well, they didn't have a plan. And to be honest, I am sure that they didn't. Here's the thing. There are little hints that suggest that they were hinting to Palpatine. I mean, if you want to consider the novelization for The Force Awakens to be canon, they literally talk about somebody talking to Rey in her head, telling her to kill Kylo. And if you look at the way, like, how she was, like, circling Kylo at the end of The Force Awakens, it kind of looked like Palpatine just a little bit. And then when she does the jab, it looks like Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. So they were dropping little things here and there, but it's like we already know. Kathleen Kennedy said, "Oh, we didn't have a plan because we didn't have any source material." DC or the Star Wars EU that they completely wipe off the map, which they were still pulling from, by the way. A lot of the story beats, like the return of Palpatine, Han and Leia's son going to the dark side. I mean, that's straight from the EU. But they could have done something with Rey, and I wanted to like Rey because Daisy Ridley is she's hot. I'm just gonna say it. She's an attractive lady, and
she does a good job with her performance. Yeah.
I mean, the way they introduced her in The Force Awakens was actually really perfect. Nice. It was really good. Her theme, Rey's theme, I love that theme. I actually really love it, and of course, it's John Williams doing it, so of course I'm gonna love it. It's just when I think of Rey, I think of The Last Jedi. Like I hate Rise of Skywalker a lot. It's just The Last Jedi is the first movie where I literally walked out of the theater before the credits rolled. I have never done that before. I haven't done it since. It was for that one movie. I after everything that happened, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah. But if she was to be related to Palpatine, don't make her the granddaughter. Like that, I think is a bit much because there is always a theory speculating that, because in the best scene in Revenge of the Sith, you ever hear that tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise influence the midichlorians? I'm not a fan of the midichlorians. I'll just say that.
What are midichlorians?
No,
they're a bunch of bullshit devices in your bloodstream.
It's
now take the jab, bitch.
It's bullshit writing to just explain the Force in a way that shouldn't have been explained to begin with. It undermined the mystique. Okay. But if you wanted to go there, like he did say, I do like to think Palpatine was telling the truth that Darth Plagueis did find a way to create life, and there was a theory of who he created, Anakin. There was always a theory that he created Anakin because his mother was a virgin. It was a virgin birth, right? So there was no father. So Palpatine, being his apprentice, kind of like, I got to get some of that. So what does he do? He can't create Anakin, obviously, but because he senses the Force in him, just how strong it is. It's like, well, I could just take him as my apprentice. I'll prop him up while he's just a small fry walker here. That's what that's what I call Anakin in the first movie. Anakin, small fry walker. But take him up as an apprentice, and if he did survive somehow in Return of the Jedi, whatever, and he does this whole cloning process, whatever. What if he created Rey, much like how Plagueis created Anakin?
Right.
Because that would because even like how you were talking about, Caleb, how there are hints of like
Palpatine.
All of that. She even says she has never flown outside of a fucking plant before, and she doesn't even know how the fuck she did it. How is this all coming to her? She doesn't even know. I mean, I could argue it's bad writing because how did she use the fucking mind trick on fucking
Daniel
007
Craig.
there? Yeah.
00 Stormtrooper.
But Dana, think about this too. Palpatine had what's that planet called that made all the clones? Like, yeah, he had that in his disposal too to create life too.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is true. That is very much true. And that's why I think Rey should have been a creation as opposed to...
Agreed.
Because when you think about it, I hate to put the image in your guys' head. If Palpatine had a granddaughter, you know what he did, right?
Well, I don't know what's more disturbing.
He put
that
the hot dog in the bun.
Well, look, I don't know what's more disturbing, that idea or the fact that it was
limited power.
I see. I don't know what's more disturbing, that possibility or the fact that it's not actually his granddaughter. If you think about it, it's his daughter because it was a clone.
Do not bring Alabamaism into this.
Oh no!
Don't think about it.
No, I get what you're saying because Boba was a clone of Jango,
right?
And that's where you're going with this, isn't it?
Essentially, but I mean, the thing is that Rey's father was a clone of the Emperor. So it's technically, from a biological sense, it's his daughter. Whether it was through him directly or an identical clone of him, it's his daughter.
But
you can say it was natural.
Oh,
but at the end of the day, no matter how many times I say we didn't have a plan, it doesn't change the fact they were short on ideas because
there's a whole shitload of EU books here.
Now, here's the thing. People, I mean, I don't hate the prequels. I mean, I have issues with them, obviously.
Jar Jar.
But I'll take Jar Jar over Rose Tico. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But,
yeah.
But even with the little things that the prequels got right is when it came to certain like designing of like ships and all of that, it's not all repurposed like it is in the sequels. Like repurposed stormtroopers, repurposed TIE fighters, X-wings, Y-wings, A-wings. It's like, can you give us something different? Like we got V-wings in the prequels. We got V-wings in Star Wars Rogue Squadron. We get all sorts of new ships
too.
The Republic gunships, the ones that are like the Vietnam Hueys.
Where are the A-wings?
They look like those fucking things that you put on your... They look like those paperclip things. You know what I'm talking about.
I do it all the time.
For God's sakes.
Exactly. But you know what? You bring up a good point. I think that the overall point is that the prequels were very different from the original trilogy. And in a way, it was a good thing because it wasn't just a rehash of the original trilogy. It was its own story that was going to the original trilogy. And despite some problems that it obviously had, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that the prequels were the golden age of Star Wars. With that said...
You could also thank Return to Oz for the prequels.
Okay.
Because you have to remember, I forgot. I think it was either Spielberg or Lucas and some other guy. They met on Return to Oz. The one with the Fairuza Balk in it, and they created the prequel trilogy. Sorry to interrupt.
So
it's like I've been saying the entire time. There's different ways to get to 44. Just pick your way to get there, and as long as you just get to the final answer, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, I can agree. It's just the way that the prequels did it. I mean, they don't do anything. Well, too much. I don't want to say they didn't do anything, but they did. They didn't do too much that would alter the original trilogy.
No.
There wasn't much in there that was literally universe breaking, like inventing a way to make hyperspace a fucking weapon.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
them.
my brother got so pissed off when it's like they just ruined everything in Star Wars with that. We couldn't use that against the Death Star in Episode 4.
Imagine
Empty
that.
ship.
It misinterpreted hyperspace. Hyperspace is not just simply going fast; it's wormholing. Your base is going.
Doesn't beat ludicrous speed.
Event Horizon,
It's gone
anybody?
to plaid.
Event Horizon, anybody?
Yes.
Let's go down ludicrous speed.
Does anybody remember Event Horizon? How they explained it? I mean, that's essentially how it was. But Last Jedi was like, oh yeah, we're gonna turn hyperspace and light speed into a weapon. It's like it brings up a whole myriad of problems. Like, okay, why didn't we use that anywhere else? Why wasn't it used before? Why isn't it being used after? Oh, because it was a 1 in a million shot. Bull fucking shit! All you gotta do is program the light speed to go right into a thing, and then go kablooey.
No, shooting a fucking hole into the fucking exhaust port was a 1 in a million.
That
Han Solo said that himself.
Yep.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Hell yeah.
Now
And then they
this
stabbed in the
is
chest.
pod racing. No, it isn't.
Or you know what you could have done? Like instead of the fucking what the fuck is that shit called?
The Holdo
yeah.
maneuver.
Yeah, the Holdo maneuver. Instead of just light speeding through the fucking ship like as if it was nothing. I mean, or you know what you could have done instead of just going light speed, you could have gone like attack speed or cruising speed. I know you're running on fumes, but at least do like a kamikaze on it. Just like blow that bitch up though. Like damage
do
it.
it.
Like
Do it with a little more stuff.
You could just have a freaking droid set stuff into light speed and everything. In fact, you don't have to sacrifice any human life or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Let me stop you right there. Yeah, what Carter said. Fuck her. She deserved it. Kill her yourself. The only problem is what she did. This is the thing I hated the most. That Holdo maneuver prevented the execution of Rose.
Don't ever mention that name to me ever again.
Which, of course,
unless if it's Rose the Hat from Dr. Sleep, then you can mention Rose.
Or
you know,
Rose.
not gonna lie.
Rose from Titanic.
She was kind of hot in that movie.
Who?
Rose?
Rose the Hat.
Oh no, Rebecca Ferguson is a fucking fox man.
Like,
okay, you
way
scared
she-
the hell out of me right there.
yes. No, fuck that. No. You know why? Because that bitch decided to ruin a potentially iconic scene for a character who was grossly misused in that very same movie.
Very.
And if obviously, realistically speaking, if she did what she did, both of them would be dead.
Yeah.
And then their friends would be dead. And then history can say Rose Tico is the reason that the Resistance was destroyed. You can blame her ass. Oh, no, it wasn't the First Order. Nah, it was this bitch.
Well, yeah. And again, when she says it's about saving what we love, it's like, what do you think?
Fighting what we hate, saving what we love.
What do you think he was doing? He was literally willing to give his own life for this team of people who took him in after he said, I want to get away from these guys. Well, come on in. Doors open. They took him in, and how's he redeem himself? I will stop them from destroying you. You guys took me in. This is what I'm going to do for you. No!
Yeah.
Even I'm sorry, even just a nitpick, that look on her face when she's charging at him, that is not a war face. That is no, it's more like this.
Cabbage Patch Kid.
It's more. I wasn't gonna say that. That looks more like a 5-year-old pouting that they don't get to eat dessert because they didn't finish their dinner. That's what it's like.
Yeah, she got
if
pissed
she
that
fucking
couldn't-
kisses Finn and they were going to be a couple, and then Rise of Skywalker, and Finn's like, no, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you know
She
Biggest
what?
pro
ruined
of
my
that
moment.
Oh,
She
speaking
ruined
of-
my moment.
Oh, and speaking of bad characters, fucking Holdo. I couldn't stand that bitch. I just wanted to crawl through that screen and just fucking strangle her.
The less we speak of her, the better.
And Jen, you know what though? It's her fucking fault though that the fuck.
Say again?
I was about to say, oh, okay. Like,
I know him.
yeah. So to be honest, though, why couldn't Holdo just tell Poe the plan, though? That like just
Going
straight
down
up,
a rabbit hole, we need to escape.
Because
I don't
Leia
wanna talk
wanted
about-
Poe to learn a lesson.
which is stupid. No, motherfucker.
It is stupid.
You don't like.
It's very.
People
Like,
are dying. Why are we doing lessons right now? Just tell me the fucking plan so I can help, and we'll be good to go.
You know
Yeah,
why?
exactly.
Because men bad, women good.
Yep. And I've
That's
said it
what it
before.
was. Like,
I've
if you
said-
think about it, watch this. I'm sorry, I got to say this real quick. Think about that scene where the bridge gets blown up and Leia gets sucked into the vacuum
Mary
of
Poppins.
space Mary Poppins. But
Oh
if
god.
you
I was
Mary
notice,
Poppins, y'all.
most, if not all, of the male leaders died, including, but not limited to, Admiral fucking Akbar, the hero of the battle of the second Death Star. It's a trap! His ass gets sucked out into outer space in the most unceremonious death ever. And
Yeah.
then all that's left is mainly just the women in charge. You get, Admiral Holdo? Oh, you mean that Admiral Holdo from that one battle that we might have heard of in some random obscure book that I don't give a shit about? That's what I mean. But again, they did it because it was supposed to be a power move. And this
Fuck
is something, circling this all back to DC, because we went off big. But
Oh man, I was about to go to the MCU theory.
Oh.
MCU?
Because I actually learned about that today. Because I actually learned in Phase 4 they were like more women characters, Marvel characters, than they were men characters.
It started with Avengers
I didn't fucking know
Endgame.
that.
It started with Avengers
Oh
Endgame.
god, I don't talk about that scene to me. That was just the most foreseen in movie history.
And what I hate exactly, it was forced. Like, that's not to say they never had some sort
No
of
Star Wars pun intended, but
well, again, it's not like they never had a girl power scene before. I mean, but when they did it in Infinity War, where
it was
we're
perfect.
we're like Black Widow and what's her face go to help Wanda. Like that was fine because it didn't feel like it just hey everyone, hey feminists watching, hey look, all the female superheroes are on the screen. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, it was just like a big battle. They were freaking fighting each other, and they just randomly met up at a point. That's exactly what Infinity War did. And it's just the other one. It's freaking girls roll out.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. And I need to bring this up too because I saw an article from MovieWeb just the other day saying like this was one of the biggest crowd pleasing moments. Like I said, 10 biggest crowd pleasing moments in the MCU. They included that, and Captain Marvel when she arrives is like. My theater was quiet for both.
Nobody cheered for that.
And that's, but what pisses me off, you know what was not on the list? This is going to piss you off too. Captain America wielding Mjolnir. Like that was the first thing in Endgame where the theater just went, whoa! Like everyone went nuts. My little Thor hammer.
Oh my god, how the fuck are you worthy? You hate giraffes.
Funny story, actually. I declared myself the god of thunder while holding metal in the sky when I was 12 years old during a thunderstorm. So I'm worthy.
Sure you were.
I did that. I did that. You can ask anyone who I went to school with. Everyone remembers that. But
I think that the giraffe in tournament camp can speak for itself in that aspect.
Yeah, but Kev, how are you going to intertwine all this freaking Power Rangers and Star Wars and Marvel all into the DCU?
Well, it's quite simple. It's quite simple.
One more thing, though. There was one more that was missing from the list. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Bullshit. I hate
how
the
were
media
those
for
none
that
of
reason.
Yeah, they're gaslighting you because whether some people want to admit it or not, they always want to push something where it's like, no, they want to gaslight you. It's like, no, you think like this. This is what you like. You like this. No, I don't.
I hate the media for that reason. We just can't tell what's true anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. You're hitting the nail on the head right there.
So my overall point is that DC going forward needs to play their cards very carefully. Honestly, I think that with Batman, for example, Robert Pattinson, that movie is all things considered, pretty solid. I have my issues with it. With that said, overall, I think that Pattinson was a pretty good Batman. He needs to work on his Bruce Wayne. He wasn't very charming and such. Kind of like
I think we're going to get that in the second one. I think they're going to fix that issue.
But
I hope so.
But I understand that too. Is that he's still in that immature stage where it's like
year one.
He's not wearing the Bruce Wayne mask because that's what it is. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Batman is who he really is.
Right.
But even when I've watched that movie several times.
Yeah.
But even the details that I love, like when we first see him as Bruce Wayne and he's in the fucking room there with Alfred and it's bright as shit. Notice how he's squinting and just kind of going,
yeah,
and putting on sunglasses, and it just calls back to the whole 2 years of night have made me into a nocturnal animal. It's like,
right.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's 2 years.
I kind of like when they get literal with Batman in a way where it's like he adapts to sort of being a bat himself. Like even with Michael Keaton, he sleeps upside down like a fucking bat.
God, wouldn't that hurt his fucking brain, though?
No, you know why?
Because he's Batman. Damn it.
Yes. We got someone very special in the chat. Mr. Drunk 3PO. What's going on, man?
Holy hell.
What? No way.
Quick little backstory. We met him in Fan Expo Dallas.
Yep.
And I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the War and Pop Culture. We got to get you on sometime.
It's an honor.
Perfect fit.
Yes, it is. It's an honor.
But you know what? He brings up a pretty good point. How many times do we need to get an origin story for not just for Superman, but for all these characters like Batman? How many times do we need to get? That's why I'm glad that the Robert Pattinson Batman didn't do the origin story, seeing the parents get shot, because we've seen it enough.
Same thing with Homecoming Spider-Man.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's just what I'm worried about for DC is, well, first of all, other than the fact that James Gunn has said what he said, that's, again, I already said that, but just reiterating that point, his attack of the fans, that's not really a good start, especially when you're trying to get a franchise up off the ground, especially after everything that's happened. Attacking the fans is something you don't want to do, even if it's like, oh, you have a small vocal minority that's being toxic. It's like, if you're trying to point to people that are actually being stupid, first of all, why are you paying attention to them? That's not your fan base. The fan base is the people that will go to bat for these characters that have supported them for years. So the firing of Henry Cavil, just so you can have another, he said that they're going into his younger? What the fuck is that even supposed to mean? Because when I think of a younger Superman,
we're going Teen Titans or some shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking, oh yeah, exactly, Smallville. It's like if you're talking about an origin story, Smallville.
Yeah,
young Superman, right?
There is an origin. Oh, there is an origin story. There's an origin TV show about Superman called Smallville with Tom Welling.
Yeah, but now there's parts of that show that just don't hold up.
Pussies.
Well, when you consider what one of the actresses was involved in, like some weird sex cult or whatever the fuck that was.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wait, which one?
That chick that played that blonde chick.
That's right. I
like
remember
his
that.
little nerd sidekick.
I
That
think
blonde chick.
I can't remember.
She was in the third.
It kind of looks like Veronica Mars for
oh,
some reason.
Oh
but-
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
the one that had the. Oh, the one that had the. Yeah. Oh, that one. I remember her. Oh, I know.
Chloe. Her name was Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe.
Okay.
Typical white bitch name.
Wow.
Damn.
But anyway, so James Gunn, he needs to stop being fucking stupid, because this paradigm of this leftist idea of attacking fans, and that's what it is, because, and this is War on Pop Culture, so we're getting political here. The far left is dominating Hollywood, have dominated Hollywood and the entertainment industry for years now. We know this. We've seen all of their projects go up in flames. Ghostbusters is the biggest offender and the most hilarious one at that. And it just seems after that, all these franchises, they keep going to shit. I mean, how many people have covered the fact that Rings of Power is shit? I refuse to watch that show. I mean, I watch the trailers. I've seen clips. It's utterly hilarious. I mean, and then they thought they could get away with insulting the fan base with it. It's like, it's not happening.
Patently evil.
Yes, hilarious.
And let me fucking tell you something. Let me fucking tell y'all something.
Please do.
They take, like, with the whole bullshit that's going on, though, the reboots and everything, though, or the remakes, whatever, if they go after, I swear to God, if they go after one of my beloved franchises, I'm not saying which one, though, there's a few, one of my favorite franchises.
Well, I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I want to know, too.
Sure.
Okay, well, if they even think about making a Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which was into a film adaptation, which was based off of a stage play and was turned into a book, I'm going to be pissed. Also, if they even think about rebooting the franchise or remaking it where it's all diverse and shit, like they're like tokenized characters, I'm fucking.
Yes, I got the two things on that. The first one, I'm sorry, but they're going to do the Cursed Child. It's fucking happening, man. It's going to happen.
I refuse to set that bitch as canon.
And number two, they will not reboot the Harry Potter series because it's already done so much, and it's just one of those untouchable things you just cannot touch.
Yeah,
it's funny because
I refuse to see Cursed
You
Child.
can follow up, but you can't redo it. I mean, it's
exactly like the Cursed Child. You can easily do it. Like Hollywood's going to fucking do it because there's freaking money on the table. Plus, they're going to try to figure out how to keep the Harry Potter series alive after what was called the atrocity of the Fantastic. Because I like the first one, but everything that also kept on going downhill.
Okay, to be honest, though, the first two were good. The third one, I was really disappointed in because
I hate the second one.
Well, no. First two were good. I like the first two. Third one really pissed me off though because of the whole fucking Johnny Depp Amber Turd shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. If it comes out, I'm going to a theater and protesting.
Well, it's funny because considering the fact that Warner Brothers is like in hot shit for multiple things, including like Fantastic Beasts and what they did with Johnny Depp, I think that whole situation is hilarious. By the way, like
to be honest, though, sorry to add to your comment. Johnny Depp was made for fucking Grindelwald. Not to mention in the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con when they released Crimes of Grindelwald. Like when they released it, he came out in full Grindelwald regalia, the fucking eye, the hair, the whole outfit, the Elder Wand and everything. It was like he was fucking made for that. Like, and just to have it be taken away from him because of a stupid lying cunt and a fucking studio that sided with her.
Well,
I know, and like they do all that, and they decide to keep Ezra Miller, who's literally a piece of shit of a human being. Like, what the fuck?
I'm curious as to
his ass off though.
Like,
to
okay,
be honest,
think about
if
this.
I was the director of that franchise,
easy now, easy.
Think about this. Think about all the projects that DC has scrapped off the table. We have the canceled Batgirl, which that is a hilarious.
That one pisses me off the most.
That's really hilarious. I was laughing my ass.
It was pretty much done. Why not just release it?
Because apparently they have very little faith in their own projects these days, I guess. But
put it on HBO Max.
The mere fact that they still had The Flash coming out, supposedly. Now, of course, with James Gunn essentially cutting people off, like obviously with Black Adam not going to be in this new version of the DCEU or CU, whatever, the cinematic universe. I'm waiting for the news of The Flash to get canceled because, well, what the okay, first of all, yes, Ezra Miller, obviously. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why they're still holding on to it is because they want to hold on to their identity politics shit because it's like he identifies as whatever the fuck he identifies as, one of the pronouns. I mean, look, the pronouns are changing every day, guys. You can't keep track of this shit. I mean, you already have people saying there's infinite number of genders. You have people that say that queer doesn't mean gay anymore. I don't know. Up is down, left is right. I don't know.
Everything you know is wrong. But and there's something else I hate when it comes to between him and Amber Heard. By the way, I don't care if he doesn't go by those pronouns because he's a terrible person, so he doesn't even deserve that respect.
Nope.
But
Who gives a shit, really? I mean,
but like
So much drop
again,
a
if
house
they
on
re-
this
why
house.
would you hold on to someone like him and Amber Heard? Like, and people who simp for these people are no better. I mean, it's like Obi-Wan says, who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Like,
both.
people who will jump to Ezra Miller's defense simply because you use the wrong pronouns. It's like, grow up. This guy is scum. Fuck him.
Hey, you know
And-
what? In that situation,
but
I would
then
do what Gina
something that
Carano
hap-
did with the beat boop.
But then there's something with
Beep boop.
regarding Johnny Depp that I wanted to bring up, because you probably saw this video that this was just recently. Like, he did like some cameo thing as Jack Sparrow, like for some
Yes.
sick kid.
Right.
And Amber Heard fans are just like, oh my god, he just can't put down the blunt. It's like, he's playing the character
For
This
a
is what the
sick
kids
child.
Yeah, like, yeah, and let's be honest, like, Captain Jack Sparrow is not a model character. He's kind of a scumbag, but he's a lovable scumbag.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the
He's
best
got
kind.
so much.
of
He's got
scumbag.
so much charm and charisma that we love him. And again,
Yeah.
like Carter was saying about Grindelwald, Depp was fucking born to play that character.
And let me and actually what I was
He's
going to say.
irreplaceable.
Definitely. I'm sorry, Mads Mikkelsen or Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen,
Mads
Mikkelsen.
Mikkelsen,
whatever your fucking name is. Okay,
Lashif.
whatever.
The
Listen,
sheath, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Listen. Okay, you're a good actor and all, but I think I like you better as a Bond villain or when you just eat people. Okay, so just stay in your lane.
You might want to add Nazi to his resume because he's playing a Nazi in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now look,
anyway,
I mean,
as I was saying, sorry.
I've heard rumors about Indiana Jones. All right, I mean, people we know have already talked about it. I know that Critical Drinker had access, or I don't remember how, but he was talking about how he had knowledge about one of the leaked scripts, and one of it was about time travel, and the Dial of Destiny. First of all, what the fuck kind of a name is that? Second of all, this is still
Lame.
Disney Lucasfilm. The same Lucasfilm that violated our beloved Star Wars characters. I feel like maybe this is just me, but I feel another Han Solo ex Indiana Jones chest stab coming. Like maybe the goddaughter for Indiana Jones is gonna be like, you know what? You're a racist white male. Stab. Maybe I'm just spitballing here, but think about this, guys. The Dial of Destiny, we've seen in the trailer that there's going to be a form of time travel. And they said, what's his name? James Mangold said that, there's not going to be a replacement of Indiana Jones for this new character or whatever. Here's the truth of the matter. Harrison Ford is getting old. He's not going to play. He's not going to play that character. I would imagine that this will be his last time playing the role. And because Disney can't stop rebooting shit, they'll reboot Indiana Jones, or they'll do a passing of the torch. And who else to helm the franchise than Phoebe Waller-Bridge, of all people? The same moron that did Droid Rights. The same person who helped to co-write the last James Bond film that killed him off. Double O.
Oh yeah.
Double O whammon. There you go.
Yeah.
Jane Bond?
Jane
Doe,
Bond.
Jane Bond? I don't know. But
yeah. Also,
sorry. Right. That droid from Solo.
Yeah.
Right.
Lando's
The one that's
droid.
now the heart and mind of the Millennium Falcon. That's nice.
Oh,
The whole time it was the droid. The droid did it instead of the butler. It was the droid who did it all along.
Anyway,
continue, Carter.
Anyway, like I said though, if when I heard about the whole bullshit about Johnny Depp being like, okay, let me break it down to what if scenario. What if somehow, if I was a director of the third Fantastic Beasts movie, if I was the director or if I was in charge of it, and I get the bombshell that Warner Brothers has fired Johnny Depp because he's a wife beater, labeled by the lying turd, I would be like, okay, you know what? That's bullshit. I know Johnny Depp, and he's not the abuser. It's the other way around, though. His wife's the abuser, not him. And to be honest, though, if I was if I was a director or in charge of the third movie, I would have halted production. Like, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, okay, like I would have gone straight
Don't make
to
it at all.
yeah, I would have gone
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you know, I would have gone to like whoever was in charge of the French, like of the studio. I'd be like, guess what? Okay, so you fired one of our best stars though, just because of some allegations. No,
Well,
no, no.
fuck,
This
dude. Think about what they did to Gina Carano. You
yeah,
guys already know this. What they
It's the
took.
media, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, we already know how Hollywood is, and when Gina Carano did what she did, which I mean, look, we already know this. What she said was not. It wasn't what the media was saying. It was the anti-Semitic bullshit. If you read what she posted, which she didn't even type herself, it was a repost, and you look at what happened to her, one of the protected classes of Hollywood. Oh, she's a woman, so she's a victim, right? Well, apparently not her. She's not one of their protected victims. So it doesn't surprise me one bit that Johnny Depp gets labeled all these things because remember, the leftist mindset is believe all women despite any actual facts. And we already know that facts don't care about feelings, but-
It's all an outrage mob when it comes to that shit. Like for them, it's always have this opinion or we'll blacklist you or we'll try to crucify you on the internet. Even going back to Ghostbusters, remember what happened to James Rolfe when he just simply did a video saying he's not going to see it. And
I'm going to do a non-review because why would I go see a movie? Why would I buy tickets to a movie I know I'm going to hate?
Exactly. But even when you watch his video, and people, like, no matter what, the people who were, like, fucking trying to crucify him on the internet, I don't think they watched his video. They just try and, like, they always do the whole sexist man baby. They always put that in the article because, well, he plays the angry video game nerd who is just a stereotypical character that pretty much embodies us when we get mad at video games, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Especially me. But he didn't say anything. He did not say anything about the female cast. Nothing. And that's because the female cast was incidental. That was not the reason the movie sucked. I mean, it certainly didn't help either. Even if that movie played out the exact same way with all the ad libs of them just talking and talking, but not actually saying anything that propels the story in any way because it's just, we're just saying funny stuff. If it was all still just guys, like a certain movie that I already punched, where they just banter and try to be the comic relief, it'd still be a bad movie at the end of the day. But the reason why we couldn't just sweep it under the rug is because it's Ghostbusters.
And Nettles loves his Bible.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't fucking. He doesn't have one. That is again. That movie, The Predator, just has the worst characterizations I've ever seen in a movie. You can't just tell us who these characters are just by bluntly throwing out. He loves his Bible. He cracks terrible fucking jokes because he's Keegan-Michael Key. That's not the. Now, I do think Keegan-Michael Key can be funny. Don't get me wrong.
Of course, yeah.
In the right setting.
Yeah, like Key and Peele sketches. I've enjoyed quite a few of those.
If one of y'all says some silly ass name, this whole class is gonna feel my wrath.
He would call me
Denise.
He would call me Danae.
I would like, was it or Kata?
Brett.
Or Will I am?
Present.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How dare you use my first name on here?
Whoa, I didn't mean for that. I was just referencing the
singer.
How dare you?
Will
you blew your own cover. You're not. Bert's not safe. We need to hide. Hide him. Hide him.
Or
Everyone
anyway,
knows his true identity.
Can I just slyly say that I like being on the right side of things because the right side is always right.
Amen to that.
Just want to say that real quick. So, I you're allowed to have your opinion on the left side, but man, you left side people are just like
stupid. Y'all think the Earth is flat though? The moon is made out of cheese.
The moon is made out of cheese. When?
If the moon were made out of ribs, would you eat it? Harry Carey here.
Well, if that's the case, then that's no moon.
Well,
it's a pit stop.
Well, here's the thing.
A pit stop.
Yes, it actually is because the footage was fake. Moon landing was fake. Okay, I said it. I said it on record.
Oh
it was
shit!
Fake.
Yep.
I fucking said it on record. It was fake. Kubrick faked it.
How dare you?
I love Stanley Kubrick.
let me ask you. I mean, so do I. He's my favorite filmmaker. But let me ask you
Yeah.
guys: have you seen 2001?
I'm sorry,
No.
Dave, but I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Well,
Do
if you
things
watch
look
that
familiar?
movie, like the way how the physics of space in that movie are so realistic, it's like you gotta wonder if the whole faking the moon landing footage, if Kubrick was involved, you gotta wonder. After you see this movie, you'll be thinking it because even I'm starting to wonder. And
Mhm.
and actually, you know what? This is not the first time I've said this on record. We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
Like
indeed.
if the moon landing was real, how come we don't go back to it as often, even though we have advanced in terms of technology and machinery?
It's a very
Exactly.
good
Wait,
question.
that's your most
It's not
important question? I thought your most important question is, did Ric Flair get his theme song based off 2001 Space Odyssey?
No. No, my most important. I still have other important questions like, why did Levi take off his shirt in My Special Boy? After his confrontation, he just takes his shirt off.
But anyway, like I said though,
Dude,
like
it's so fucking random too. I'm like, what the
but
fuck is this? But
anyway,
you know what? I appreciate that, dude. But
but anyway, if like I said though, if I was director of Fantastic Beasts 3, I would have said like I would have gone to the head of Warner Brothers like, I can't believe you fired him. So you know what? Fantastic Beasts 3 is going to be on hold until we get this whole thing cleared out. I am not filming. I don't care if I have to pay out of pocket to keep it afloat. It's on pause. And if you want to fire me, go ahead. I'm going to stand with Johnny Depp. If anybody touches Fantastic Beasts 3 without my approval, I'm suing that person. I'm suing your asses because I would have stood like, or to be honest though, like, oh, so Amber Heard.
Return of the Living Flet says, I got an episode for Danner's Dumpster, the Star Wars Holiday Special from
No,
1928.
No,
absolutely not.
hell
If you,
no.
Here's the fun fact.
Guy-
I have never actually seen the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, but
Okay.
anyway, like I said though, I would have said like, oh, if Johnny Depp's going, guess what? I'm fucking going. So guess what? Or better yet though, okay, do you know
But-
what? Why are we firing him? He's a good person though. Like you, okay, you know, or I would have did an ultimatum for Ezra Miller though. Like Ezra, look, I know you
Oh,
don't
yeah,
get
he
the
was
come
in those.
or
I
yeah.
forgot.
Like here's the thing though. So with your status going on though, here's what I'm gonna do. Either you either knock it off and clean up your act, and you could stay on in our franchise, or if you don't, I will.
Did you mute him?
I don't
Yeah,
know what
you
you're
did,
talking about.
Yeah, you did, asshole. Yeah, you
I
did.
don't-
I don't know what you're talking about.
you
Yes,
have
you
the
did.
access to the button. I know you do.
Yeah, you do, jackass.
I have
Anyway,
nothing.
I would
I
have stood
plead the
with
fifth
Johnny
of
Depp.
Jack.
Now, I just need to go back. I need to go back a second since Flet brought it up in the chat there. No, just no. And
Yeah.
and Caleb, I know you've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, but let me tell you, it's really,
Bad.
really, really, really bad.
You're gonna
So
need to be
is
under
it,
a
is
lot of
it
drugs to
worse
watch
than
it.
The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker?
All I could say is, by comparison, those are movies. They're not good, but they are movies. Now, also, like with the reviews that I've done on my Facebook page, that was actually the first one I ever did. And I was drunk sitting in my car.
So you were a drunk 3PO then.
No, I was drunk solo. I was wearing my solo jacket. Well, I didn't live
got it
here
with
at the
blue
time.
milk.
I didn't live here at the time, and this room is pretty much soundproof if I close the glass door. So it was a smaller building, and we had people that lived downstairs. So if I was going to review something, it's like, go to the car, and you could tell how drunk I am too, because I'm holding my phone and I'm just going like this the whole time. Just
amateur reviews. I love it.
yeah,
Oh man!
I
But
had fun filming it.
But to go back to Carter's thing with this whole, like with the whole Johnny Depp situation, like, yes, I implore you like to go into bagging the Johnny Depp, but the studio's not going to give a shit because Fantastic Beasts was such a popular name, and they wanted to hit while the iron was hot. So they are, unfortunately, they're not going to wait around. So they had to make a decision right then and there without the facts. Again, it is a shitty situation, but they had to do what they needed to do to earn that money. That's because that's what it is at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the freaking money. Why do you think they did with the whole Ezra Miller bullshit? Because they've already invested all that money into the movie. The movie's pretty much done. So they have no choice but to release it. Or do you know how much fucking money they're going to lose if they do not release that movie? So that's why they deal with the bullshit. And I think it's bullshit. I'd rather fight for Johnny Depp and Ezra Miller. But just based off like the situation and at the end of the day, the money, that's why they had to make the decisions that they had to. They're wrong, but from a money business standpoint, I sort of understand it, unfortunately.
I can feel your anger.
I would have just like.
Oh, you can read my mind then. That's good. That's very
To be
good.
honest,
But-
I wouldn't release it though. I would just scrap it and restart.
Yeah,
Well-
but see, WB's not going to do that because they're going to lose so much money that's going to hurt them.
And
Well,
to be honest, though, they're
Well,
already
that's your
losing
fault.
money,
You
are they
well,
not?
That's
They
what you
are.
get, though. Well, that's
They
on
have
you.
to
You
be.
fucking fired Johnny
There's-
Depp. That's on you.
They're scrapping so many projects. They got to be losing a lot. But even
Yeah, but
when,
that I'm telling you,
when-
the Flash one, with as much as it took to make that movie,
Yeah.
that would be an actual blow than the blows they're dealing with currently.
Oh, if it bombs, they're fucked. And
You know,
but let
I
me
heard.
hang on, before I'll let you, but hang on. The only thing people are going to care about with that movie, the only thing, is just seeing Batman. Let's be real here. That's what we care about.
Well, that's
Nobody
the
gives
thing.
a rat's ass about the Flash.
That's the only thing
Well,
that's
that-
holding everything together right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because I've been hearing rumors that they've cut several cameos from the movie, including but not limited to Batman and Wonder Woman being in it. Now, to what extent, I am not sure, and to what version of Batman, I'm also not sure, because I heard that Batfleck was supposed to be in it, and of course Michael Keaton being in it, but I'm hearing that they've cut cameos from the production, from the movie.
Oh shit.
And
Damn,
again,
man,
this is
that's-
all goes back to what they're doing, whatever James Gunn is doing with the movie. And that's why I'm asking, okay, they're putting out this Flash movie. And obviously this movie was in production before the whole James Gunn thing was even happening. So
yeah.
if they're
And the
still going to
reboot.
release the movie, my question is, are they going to use that movie as their flagship film to do this new DCEU? Because we know what happens with Flashpoint, where the Flash goes back in time and essentially history gets rewritten.
It shouldn't, but I would think they wouldn't have a choice that they have to use it for something. But I don't think that, like, for me personally, I say scrap everything and just start completely over again.
Clean slate.
But unfortunately, you kind of almost at a point where you have to use something from the Flash to reboot everything, like possibly like going to a brand new timeline of something.
Right.
Possibly. Again, that's just a tough situation. And that's like, again, putting James Gunn against a freaking corner and say, hey, fix this shit. While also all the fans like freaking topping on top of him. Just like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Don't fuck this up and all that. So James Gunn is in a really hard position right now. Again, I understand what he said on Twitter is not the brightest thing to do or how he handled the whole Henry Cavil thing. But you just got to remember, imagine just being in your shoes, in James Gunn's shoes. How would you react with all the hounding and the pressure, not only from the fans, but from the studios and just where DCEU is at currently? So you just got to play that in the mind too. And like James Gunn, like kind of like what he's going through right now, because I can guarantee you it's not easy.
Oh, sure, it's
No.
not easy. It's just I also look at like the Kevin Feige, like the way Kevin Feige's been handling things, and he's been running the show since I think it's after the first Avengers film came out, where Disney bought Marvel. I think it was after the first Avengers came out. So
I
Kevin
think so.
Feige
That's
has been
correct.
dealing with things for a long time, and I'm not saying that Kevin Feige and James Gunn are on the same level. It's just I know that obviously Warner Brothers invested a lot of things into James Gunn. They feel confident enough in him, and obviously because look, Warner Brothers understands how popular Henry Cavill was because they literally had him in for a cameo in Black Adam. So I am sure that, okay, hey, look, guess what, James Gunn? You may have a lot on your plate, but guess what? You still got a big moneymaker in Henry Cavill. Yet James Gunn decides to kick Henry to the side. And look, and this is the really interesting bit, because ever since Henry Cavill was removed from Superman, I've been seeing articles start popping up about Henry Cavill being toxic or these little allegations. I'm starting to see those articles pop up, and it's very fucking convenient. And of course, I'm thinking to myself, oh, hey, where's is anybody going to come to his defense? Anybody? No, fuck it. Henry Cavill is expendable because he was one of the very few actors that would go on camera and say, yeah, you know what? These fans aren't toxic. They're passionate about what they love, and they have a right to gripe about it. And as someone who cares about the lore, as many people should, because look, I mean, why would you be okay with the violation of a popular character? Like if it's not, I'm not talking about, oh well, creative liberties, changing some things that are necessary to propel the story forward. I'm talking about things that directly violate the character. Like, for example, Batman has a tolerance or a no-kill rule, right? Or that he doesn't use guns. Well, fuck it. In the next movie, Robert Pattinson is not only using guns, he's going to use a goddamn minigun to shoot down the Joker. Let's end the movie right now. Brrr. That's obviously an extreme example. With that said, you can understand where I'm coming from, though. Changing things, changing a fundamental aspect of a character to either suit the needs of the story or, in certain cases, to appeal to a certain demographic in order to think you're going to bank in more bucks. That's my problem.
But again, they're relying on the wrong people to bank off of, because that's what I was going to say. Because as Critical Drinker himself says it, to cater to a modern audience. And modern audiences, they're a bit savvy. Mm-hmm. They don't appreciate what comes before, because they'll look at the old stuff and just call it, I'm about to use this fucking word, problematic. Like, that's why when I look back at the year we've had with movies, we've had our shits, but we've had a lot of good ones that just knew how to be good movies without feeling like they have to cater to these young audiences that care too much about, well, the shit we usually talk about here on the channel, from identity politics, having to reflect the modern world, like, or just they lose sight of what just makes a good movie a good movie. Like look at how Top Gun Maverick has done. Everyone is still praising it. And what the shit?
That wasn't me.
Are you sure? That?
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't me either.
Caleb or Car did last.
Oh, fuck off. I didn't do shit.
Anyway, that movie is done so well because it just went for what it wanted to be. A fun summer blockbuster, and it took a risk. This is a sequel to a movie from the fucking 80s. It's a legacy sequel. And legacy sequels, as far as I'm concerned, are hit and miss. But mostly miss. I'm sorry, but they are. Top Gun was most certainly a hit, and everyone was all like, you gotta see it in theaters. I mean, it was up until just a couple weeks ago when they finally stopped showing it at my local Cineplex, by the way.
Yeah.
Because again, that brought in the big bucks. And now, I hate to reference them, but even Watch Mojo, because they just did top 10 movies of the year.
Rez, what's going on, man? I'm sorry. I interrupted. What's going on, man?
Top Gun Maverick.
He or she,
Top Gun Maverick. That's what we're talking about.
I'm assuming genders. I'm sorry. You might be a woman. And I just called you.
Wow. Now you're canceled. But great. Now I lost my fucking train of thought.
Top Gun.
I know I was talking about Top Gun Maverick, but again, that movie was doing so well. Everyone was saying, you got to go see it. You got to go see it in theaters. Watch Mojo even said, while doing their top 10 movies of the year, that this movie does what modern summer blockbusters have lost sight of, what made summer blockbusters so good. Top Gun Maverick did not lose sight of it. It went for it, and look what happened. It became a monster hit at the box office. Everyone loved it, and I refused to watch it unless I was in the D-box seats, because having the seats move with the jets was worth the extra price.
Definitely.
Brad saw it that way, and I'm so jealous.
I did it the exact same way. I was at a 4D theater. I had water get sprayed on me. I had fans blowing. I had the chairs moving. It was fantastic. And let me just say this. I
still want to go to one.
Let me just say this. If you ever go to one, don't have any drinks. in your seats because you will get splashed. And I'm not talking
Wow.
about the water.
Oh boy.
The less said
yeah, to go with-
about that, the better.
But
Yeah, but to go with Dander's thing is, that's kind of funny, though, because it was at the time where everybody said, "Oh, theaters are dead. There's no point going to the theater anymore. That's not going to be that one movie that makes you want to go to the theater." And then, bam! All of a sudden, Top Gun Maverick comes out, and everybody's talking about, "Oh, this is the movie that saved cinematic theaters."
mhm.
And
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't necessarily believe that. I think, again, that's just the media trying to sway a direction of things.
Mhm.
But man, Top Gun Maverick definitely made an impact at the theater for sure.
Yeah,
but
and
at the same time, you can't always rely on comic book movies either, because we've seen
exactly
even
And
they're
plus they're
starting
getting
to dwindle.
tiring too.
Well, especially with Marvel. I mean, you guys have been talking about the DCEU, and this is why I still go back to this. I don't want any more cinematic universes. I don't.
Damn it, you're like Chris Snyder. I knew you were going that way.
Him and I have a lot in common. What can I say? We both dislike the Grinch, by the
Yeah.
way.
You pretty much want early 2000s Marvel where they just focus on one hero, one world without crossing over. And you know what? I'm finally ready to jump on that board too. Like after Endgame, I was ready to jump on that board of like early 2000s Marvel stuff.
But and I know you still watch Marvel stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Of course.
I'm glad you still enjoy it, but I still liked it more. Like when you look back at Spider-Man 2, when they have a great little tidbit of an Easter egg, like in the scene where Jameson's trying to come up with a name for Dr. Octopus, and fucking Ted Raimi's like, Doctor Strange. Well, that's pretty good. Let's take it. Like something as simple as that. Like just tiny tidbits like that. But or even Batman Forever had something, and it was better than what we got in Batman Robin, where Dick Grayson decides, yeah, I don't need to stay with you because I'm clearly a 25-year-old Bruce. I'm gonna go on my awesome motorcycle. Bye-bye. And he says, where are you gonna go? The circus must be halfway to Metropolis by now.
Oh,
yeah.
Like that. I like when they just hint at those without really going there, where it's like, oh, this is part of a bigger universe. Because
Marvel missed out on the biggest freaking end credit scene of all time. They should have taken an opportunity where this could have been perfect for Avengers or something like that, where you see Stan Lee freaking being a janitor and cleaning things, and there's Mjolnir, and he could have just easily moved the hammer. Like that would have been the greatest cameo of all time, or that would have been the greatest instinct of all time.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Stan Lee's worth it, damn it. He's worthy of holding that hammer.
Yeah, he's worth it.
I just want phase 1 and 2 level writing again. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we might not ever get that. I'm just telling you, man, just that journey, 11-year journey from phase 1 through 3, they should have ended it at Endgame and go a whole nother direction, because what they're doing now, I'm looking forward to the future and all that with phase 5 and 6 after getting through what I call the trauma phase, even though I'll add another word to it. Not only just trauma, but also setting up. That's what I call phase 4. It's not supposed to be the sexiest phases of the 3 of like the ones that we have. It's all about setting up the story for phases 5 and 6. If you really just like look at it, because that's what they're pretty much doing, is setting up that story. But however, folks, just how you ended Endgame, there's nothing you could do from here on out that's going to top that, with the possible exception of No Way Home, because that's the best Spider-Man movie of all fucking time. But other than that, there's nothing else you can do to freaking go to that back to that level again. So that's why I feel like we should have ended it, like respect it, especially during that time that Stan Lee passed away. That would have been the appropriate time to end all of that.
Yeah. But it even has that little bit in the end credits where like fucking, where it's showing all the original Avengers and it's showing like the autographs from the actors. That almost felt like the biggest. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on this ride.
Oh, dude, that was perfect.
Oh yeah.
Dude, yeah.
It honestly felt like when you watch a play and the cast comes out and they all hold hands and they start bowing.
Oh yeah,
that was the way.
That's what that was like. That's what it felt
like a big old curtain call.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Rez says, hell, remember when Iron Fist and Age of Ultron were our scale for bad? We didn't know how bad it would get. I mean,
I actually kind of liked Iron Fist. I'm sorry. I know I might be a lone goat on that one, but I actually kind of liked it.
I never watched Iron Fist, but I did watch Age of Ultron. And
I mainly
yeah,
just like the girl that was in it. I can't remember her name right now, but she's in the
Wanda
new
Maximoff?
freaking what's the one that came out on Netflix today? That
not Jessica Jones.
Glass.
Jessica
Or
Jones.
Knives Out.
Knives
Knives
Out.
Out.
Oh, Glass
God.
Onion.
Yeah.
Glass
Are you?
Onion.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Knives
But
Out,
yeah.
Glass Onion, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Rez says, "Yo, please don't diss Batman and Robin. That movie is a gem."
Oh, we did an entire
Let's
watch
kick some
along on
ice.
that movie, so yeah.
Hey, check it out on the
we
channel.
bashed it.
Banner's Dumpster.
Episode
Batman and
2.
Robin.
And this is why
Episode-
Superman works alone.
And apparently, so does Batman.
Oh yes, he does, and he works better alone because
Mhm.
here's another problem I have with cinematic universes, especially when you have these ones that are part of a universe, but they have this big epic story, and like even the conflict feels grand, but only to find it's only just a small part of the universe. There's something much bigger coming that's going to be a little harder. It's just like, oh, well, that kind of undercuts everything that just happened, don't you think?
There's a way to do it, though. There's a
You,
way.
you build up. You get bigger as you go. I would say.
Right.
Like
I mean,
you don't. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they fought Thanos in the first Avengers movie and then brought the Chitauri? You did it wrong.
Yeah, it's the Chitauri first, and then Thanos. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's clearly a formula to building up the story, and I hope. But you know what? Then again, I'm kind of done hoping. I'm just gonna sit here with my bowl of popcorn and just watch the shit show happen. And I'm
Yeah.
referring to DC because I'm the kind of guy at this point, with everything we've got from both DC and Marvel, especially Marvel with the MCU phase 4. I have very little faith in any of it. And hey, you know what? If I have my expectations super low and it turns out to be pretty good, hey, you know what? I'm glad I was wrong. The problem is Disney, Marvel, DC, Warner Brothers, Hollywood, they are creatively bankrupt. They can't think of anything else to do. I mean, fuck, dude. How many more movies does Disney have in their bucket list of things to do live action remakes of?
Peter Pan and Wendy.
They're not going to do Peter Pan.
Because I thought they did.
Because of the subject matter. Yeah, they did that movie in like what 2003, which
No,
wasn't
except that was Universal.
I don't care.
The point is, they've done.
Apparently, Disney's doing bullshit prequel ideas now. Freaking Mufasa.
Unoriginal
that
ideas.
pissed me off. I'm like, I have to go see it because of my Lion King fandom. But however, I got such low expectations of that movie.
Danner hates it because of the giraffes.
No.
Watch the giraffes beat the fucking villains, and Danner's playing one of the voiceovers.
Oh my god! But just a fair warning, because by the way, I should just send Caleb the link to my letterbox just so he can put it in the description, just in case anyone wants to go read my shit, because I do write there quite often.
Mm-hmm.
But
and good job too.
Oh, thank you. But next month, I'm sort of taking notes from Snyder. I am going to do the Disney Renaissance movies. I'm not going to do all the sequels like he is. I mean, good for him. But you know how he kind of got under your skin with the Lion King? Yeah, I have something else I'd like to add on my own take. I'm not sure you're going to handle it very well.
Oh,
because,
God, what?
Hold on. You better still be listening, buddy.
Nope.
Scar is not a great villain.
Oh.
You shut your whore mouth.
Okay. Okay, at this point,
First off, Scar is an excellent villain name.
He has a great name. What's his goal?
To rule over the
king.
Yeah, to become king and do what?
To rule in his own way.
I got it.
Doing what?
By enslaving all the giraffes.
He doesn't do anything, though. Once he has become king, he's just being a fucking... He's a sloth.
Maybe.
What? Oh, like Trudeau.
Maybe.
What's the goal?
Maybe he
Why?
wanted to destroy everything and rebuild it back up in his own creation.
But he doesn't. He just sits there and
We
does the
did
whole.
have the opportunity to because some little shit named Simba had
Didn't
to
he have
fucking
kids?
ruin everything.
He did it.
I swear
No,
he had a
but
kid.
even before then,
Or was it his
Sarabi was
nephew?
confronting him. Sarabi confronts him. Was like, something has to be done. He's just like, I'm a king. I can do whatever I want. He's taking it like a child who just found
you
his
mean
dad's
like-
gun.
Oh, you
Yes,
mean like
I
Joffrey?
just
Like
I just
Joffrey?
quoted Jurassic Park right there, and I didn't even have to because that's exactly what it is.
Is he related to giraffes? Is that
What?
why you hate him so much?
Caleb
No.
Carter, hold on to your butts because this is about to be one bumpy ride. Ha! I can do Jurassic Park references too.
Yeah, except I didn't try to. I just happened to do it.
Well,
Fuck
that just
you.
so happens to be a big pile of shit.
Yeah.
If I can do it. I can do
But-
it free.
But yeah, I mean, hey, Chris is in hot water with me with his reviews too. Let me tell you.
He must mean the Lion King reboot.
Oh fuck
No.
that.
No,
Dan-
fuck no. Fuck
I,
the
Banner-
Banner.
I actually am talking about a bit of a negative aspect I have with the original. I'm sorry, but I already told you. Become king, fucking eat.
He has a simple goal, man. Become king, fucking eat.
Did he ever?
That's true.
Did Scar? Oh what? Oh yeah, he does. He has kids. I forgot. But
Wait, really? Oh wait, yeah, that's
and,
right.
yeah,
and Lion
the
King
sequel.
too.
Yeah,
But-
Nev
Well,
Campbell.
actually,
Campbell.
Nev Campbell's in that.
I've actually learned this.
Yes, he
I
is.
don't believe Khufu is actually Scar's daddy.
I do. He fucking is.
I think
Yeah,
they
he
want you to
smashed
believe
Ratani.
that, but there actually is no evidence. They did not actually reference that. He just has a similarity to Scar.
Nah,
So maybe
he
it's
has
like
and
his
Vitani,
cousin.
Scar
He-
and Vitani smashed.
He's a cousin,
is.
my nephew's daughter's wife, twice removed, a eunuch.
Oh,
Terrible
for fuck's-
singing voice.
But
Khufu is
Caribbean.
Scar's first father's cousin, uncle.
father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
Spaceballs, really?
Or
Yep.
den
who
mate.
else in here is an asshole?
Yo.
Damn,
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
I'm an asshole. He's an asshole too.
Anyway, but like I was saying though, Snyder's in hot water with me after he reviewed The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh,
Why, he doesn't like it and you do?
Obviously not as much as me, because The Hunchback of Notre Dame actually is my favorite one of the Renaissance era.
Ooh. See, I
That-
respect that.
Hey,
Oh,
okay. I'm
mine's-
sure he does too. It's just I read it's like,
oh, mine's-
Of course he's entitled to his opinion, but
oh. One of my favorites has to be the Great Mouse Detective.
yes.
Yes.
God, such an epic scene.
Yep. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Great Mouse Detective was definitely one of my favorites from the Renaissance's area.
Oh, shut up.
era.
Very good one too.
Yeah.
Shut up,
Oh.
Carter.
Fuck
I know
off,
why you
Caleb.
like it.
Ooh, gears!
Okay.
I like the gears.
But and also Frollo. He's my favorite villain.
It's the tail, isn't it, Carter?
Oh,
Carter
no.
likes the tails.
Oh,
dear.
Radican.
No, it's the ears. It's the ears.
The
likes the
world's
ears.
Yeah,
greatest rat.
Yeah. not
What
to mention-
did you call me?
Yeah. Plus, Vincent Price
Oh my
did an
god,
amazing
Banner, what the
job.
fuck?
Yeah, Vincent Price did an
You
amazing
made yourself
job
look like
as
a
him.
giraffe, bro. Calm down.
That was a rat.
Exactly. Get
No
it?
rat.
Yeah.
What?
Giraffes
Oh,
are rats.
Yeah, not to mention Vincent Price did an amazing job portraying him. Also, to be honest though, if Vincent Price was still alive, I think he would have done an amazing Doctor Strange outfit or look. Because he has that bone structure.
Oh, Once Upon a Time. Yes.
And
That's
plus, he
like
probably
saying-
had good hands too.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, Frollo. I fucking hate Frollo.
I went there.
I love Frollo.
To be honest though, if I ever encountered Frollo, I would have just ran out.
Fire.
Oh,
Hey, you know what?
wanna-
Speaking
oh,
of
so
something that
fire.
sounds
Oh,
like that,
I got some
Willow.
fire for you.
another franchise that Disney decided to fuck up.
I don't even know what the fuck Willow is, but I've been
That's a
hearing about
classic.
it. I've been hearing about it. I heard they just.
It's about a tiny guy, and his name is Willow.
Okay.
Who
Okay.
happens to be Warwick Davis.
Yep. Good man.
Well, Warwick Davis could be the new mini me, right? if they ever make an Austin Powers 4, because Vern Troyer's, kind of dead, They could always just
Oh
get.
no, you crazy Dutch bastard!
I think Warwick, if they were to do it though, Warwick Davis would be like the worthy contender to replace him. I would say.
Oh, hands down.
Mm-hmm. But okay, it pissed me off. How come Austin Powers 3 was the only one on Netflix that I could find?
Oh, really? Damn, I think we had all three.
Fuck. Well, fuck.
Maybe because of the
damn
region.
Americans. But,
Get a VPN.
hey, that had a great fight scene with Austin and Mini-Me. like puts him in a fucking pillowcase and he's just smashing them all over the
fucking fucking Friday the 13th.
No, the great shit about that scene was Austin Powers grabbing a kendo stick and he's just running around going, "Ah!"
Well, overall,
wow.
What as a final passing question before we wrap things up?
Alrighty.
And this goes to everyone here in the panel and anyone else in the chat. What are your hopes for James Gunn and the DC Cinematic Universe going forward?
Sink and
don't fuck
burn
it
and
up.
sink. Burn and sink.
Oh,
Sink like the Bismarck.
Sink something that isn't even made it to the water yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good plan.
Be the fucking Bismarck. Sink like the Bismarck.
That's not very nice. But I'll say it. I hope he succeeds. Am I going to be surprised if he fails? No, just because again with the fan base and everything. I hope that's the main thing I hope for. I want the fan base. If they really truly mean that they are a passionate fan base, they need to give James Gunn the chance versus just go ahead and assume that he's going to fail and all that. So let's just give him a chance. This ain't going to be like let's give him 2 months or 3 months. We legit have to give him possibly a good month. I'm sorry, a good year or a year and a half. That's what we're going to have to give James Gunn. We're going to have to give him time. But he has around a year or 2 year range before we can truly criticize him. So I just hope he succeeds because I want DCU to be good. Because if DCU is good, then Marvel's going to have to up their game. So it's like a healthy competition in a way. So I'm just hoping for all the best.
That's a very positive outlook. Me personally,
I'm a positive guy, so
you are. You do cheer everybody up, and that is a very good feature.
Except for Danner, he can rot in hell for loving giraffes and hating Lion King. You son of a bitch!
I don't hate the Lion King.
Is that
That's
the
very
ghost
interesting.
voice transmitter from the third one?
No, but it did come with the mask.
What's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost.
So Rez says, good writing, superheroes that don't murder a bunch of innocent people because it's their first day. Though firing Henry Cavill cannot be forgiven. Maybe if they made Shaq Steele canon.
Yeah, let us hope he makes those shots though. Let's hope he makes those shots.
He can't make the shots. Just ask Dr. Phil. Just shoot the damn basket.
Put it in the fucking basket.
You know, so
what was that for? You hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But Dan, what about you? What's the future hold for James Gunn for you?
Even though I've said before, I'm not always the biggest fan of like going from Marvel to DC when you're a filmmaker, but he's already sort of started to prove himself already. I know it's a reboot and all, but he did do The Suicide Squad, which I thought was a pretty good one. Among one of the better of that franchise alone. And it actually made me tolerate Harley Quinn this time around. I didn't like her until that
Mario
movie.
Kart motherfuckers.
But cautiously optimistic. Hopefully he could bring something good to the table, but the clean slate, like firing Henry Cavil and what he's been saying to the fans and throwing accusations and finger pointing, not quite the best start. But hopefully we can get some quality out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Carter, how about you?
Well, like I said though, like
crash and burn.
Actually, I was going to say sink like the Bismarck, or basically let the fans be the hood, or basically be sunk. Let's just say, James Gunn, you were good at Guardians of the Galaxy, but you just jumped into another franchise. Buddy, you should just stay in your lane.
Train go boom.
Train go boom. Or heaven go boom.
So you're
Well-
saying more like listen to the fans, right?
Yeah, listen to the fans and stop being an ass, or better, get your head out of your own ass.
And
Mm.
I
don't know.
respect that, but that's the same thing kind of like in the restaurant business that the customer is not always right, meaning
That's
the fans
true.
are not always right
The
either.
price is
The
wrong.
only question
bitch.
is, what exactly have fans been saying that has
Succeeded.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, like, what exactly have fans said that is making James Gunn go, like, because what you really have to do is differentiate the internet trolls, like the people that are like bot accounts that are saying stupid shit because it's the internet, versus the people that are actually passionate about the project. And because the problem is that a lot of the critiques that people give these days are being labeled as toxic fans being toxic and privileged. The thing is that a lot of these people that would go to bat for these characters in these franchises used to be shat on for liking those franchises, because it wasn't too long ago that before, liking all these characters was not labeled as cool. These days it's all hip and hop because it's in the mainstream movie business, and so now it's cool to like all these characters. But it wasn't too long ago that you would get shat on. You'd be called nerd, a virgin, basement dweller, all these things for liking these franchises. But now it's so convenient that everyone likes them. All these big time Hollywood
It's
movie
mainstream.
makers and actors are there. So
Fake ass fans.
so the thing is that you really have to understand that obviously these Hollywood elites, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly who the real fans are versus the trolls that they say. I mean, they're calling all these fans trolls or a small vocal minority. That I know because I've seen Hollywood say their shit for all these years, these past 10 years. I know exactly what James Gunn meant when he was talking about a small vocal minority. I know exactly who he was talking about. He was talking about the people that are like, why the fuck would you fire Henry Cavill? That's one of the biggest points of contention right now. And everything, I mean, it's more than that, of course. It's just that is one of the big focal points. People are complaining to James Gunn about firing Henry Cavill, and that's why James Gunn said what he said. That's why he said it. Otherwise, because if they didn't fire Henry Cavill, do you think that people will be complaining as much? There would be people,
No.
don't get me wrong, but Henry Cavill was a positive point for the DC cinematic universe. And now that he's gone, and James Gunn is saying we're going to have a Superman movie focused on his early life, people are confused.
No.
Well, what the hell are you going to do with that? And what's going to happen with everyone else? Because they canned Wonder Woman 3 too. That was another thing. They canned the third Wonder Woman film. So
Did we forget to talk about that?
We
oh
kinda
no, who
did.
cares?
Yeah,
Who
who
does?
gives a shit?
So anyway, so my whole perspective is it's most likely going to suck because Hollywood hasn't figured out yet the good formula for winning over fans and being successful. And by successful, I mean making money. Because yes, the customer is not always right, because sometimes you'll get assholes. Absolutely. With that said, you need to filter through the bullshit of the fandom and find out, hey, there are people that aren't toxic. That there isn't this vocal minority they're toxic. They have a very loud voice, but they're very few. No, there's a lot of people, because the numbers. You got to look at the numbers. The comic sales are going down. The movies, the TV shows, looking at Disney and Marvel, the shit is not doing very well because people are starting to wisen up to the bullshit. So what James Gunn and Warner Brothers need to do, if they ever decide to do it, is weed through the bullshit and find, hey, you know what? Let's take some of these criticisms. Let's not be complete pricks about this universe, because we are doing a clean slate essentially. All right, this is your chance to get like almost like a census, get an understanding. Okay, what are some of the expectations people are wanting for the new DC cinematic universe, and what are some mistakes from the old DC cinematic universe that we can avoid while we're creating our new one. Take from the past, learn from the past, so you don't repeat it.
Exactly.
Kind of like Lion King. You can either learn from it or Danner.
What?
I was going to let you finish the sentence.
I don't know what I know what it was. I'm confused.
When you mean you don't know.
Nope. No, you lost me.
You can either run from it or learn from it.
Oh, right.
You see. But anyways,
Well,
my last
it's been a long
night.
time.
Oh, sorry.
I was
Oh,
just
no,
saying, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, you need to freaking fix that real quick.
I'll get to it next
Don't
month.
maybe come up to Canada, man. But anyways, my last thought, just to go like Caleb, kind of like what you say with the Henry Cavil. Here is the main thing I'm worried about. Who they're going to get to replace Henry Cavil as Superman? Because man, I'm going to feel so bad for that actor because he's going to get so unfair criticism. That would be my last thought on this stream. I really feel bad whoever they replace Henry as Superman.
It's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yep.
Yep.
So, regardless of all that, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I did not expect Drunk 3PO of all people to show up. That was fantastic. If you're still here or watching this after the fact, thank you very much for tuning in. It's not every day we get some of our heroes in the war and pop culture. Special thank you to Kyle for joining in.
Fuck you.
A special thank you to our Patreon supporters, Mother Moeller and Kyle Curtis Flett. Thank you to Kyle for showing up. And a big thank you to Mr. Brettman for joining in tonight last minute. The last time we were working together was on Hollow Scream, and I still want to do a Halloween stream featuring us again. But first and foremost, thank you for including us in the Hollow Scream review series because you helped us get to where we are today with our subscriber count.
You're so welcome. Again, that's the whole point of that series is to help people out that truly deserve it. And you guys truly deserve your success and all that. And I definitely want y'all to have more success. So let me ask you a question real quick. Do y'all like Scream?
Yes.
I love Scream.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and let you know right now. Me and Brad are thinking about a Scream review series. If you all want to hop on that train.
I'm down. Plus, I got my Ghostface costume.
Trust me, I got mine too. So I'll talk to you fine gentlemen. So I'll talk to you fine gentlemen in January.
Sorry, you forced my hand.
So I'll talk to you fine gentlemen in January and we'll try to get that set up for a mini series.
Oh
hell yeah. I agree.
Oh, and
is there one more thing? I got to ask Bert because this is always mandatory when we have guests. Is there anything else coming up on Good Real Hunting?
What's
promote?
Coming up? The only other thing for the remaining of this year is we'll be back next Thursday as we do our top 20 movies of 2022. And then I'll give you some January stuff that we're doing too. We're going to do most anticipated movies of 2023 of all genres. We're finally going to debut our kind of like our group of the Scream Warriors, which is kind of like the Stream Demons reboot, if y'all have heard of them before. It's like a reboot version of that. We're finally going to do our first episode on that sometime in late January as we're going over the most anticipated horror movies of 2023. Me and Destiny will be doing start our new year for Back from the Dead, celebrating horror movie anniversaries from like years ending with 8 and 3. In those 5-year intervals. And then lastly, and some of y'all saw this announcement today as well, the Real Horror Awards Show. This is like Good Real Hunting's version of the Horror Awards for all the horror movies that came out in 2022. I'll go ahead and say right now, Caleb and Danner are going to be presenting awards on that. So we're excited to have the Dark Ether Files podcast being a part of that series as well. So what are they going to be presenting? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. Not yet, Danner. You'll see in the ballot.
I wasn't going to.
In the ballot, you will see. Like you will not be the protagonist in this story. And Caleb, you need to fix your costume design.
Oh! Wow.
Man, it's 12:35, so you can tell I'm getting tired. So.
Yes.
With my horrible jokes.
That's okay.
Merry Christmas wherever you guys are.
Yes, Merry Christmas to everyone watching. Happy holidays.
I celebrate Kwanzaa.
Oh, okay. And,
okay, Merry Christmas and Happy holidays.
And also, in case some of you who are probably still watching right now, if you're not go subscribe to Good Real Hunting right now. They're good friends of ours.
Absolutely.
Considering that they have given us a good boost here at the Dark Ether Files, they deserve your love as well. So
Damn
Thank
straight.
you. And we're
if you
close
haven't,
to 1K
subscribe.
too.
Yes, they're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Just go subscribe to them and tell them that we sent you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You might even
That's-
get a
Sorry,
free
I'm,
Dr.
I'm trying
Pepper
not to tear the
as a
fuck up
nice
right
reward.
now. So thank you.
Okay.
Don't do it now.
That's the nicest thing Danner has ever fucking said about
Yeah.
me in
Do it.
all time.
Otherwise, I'll come to your house and I'll kill you.
Oh, you know I love
Oh,
you.
okay.
Shit. Okay, now we're
Yeah.
back to the perfectly balance of the force. So there we
Yeah,
go.
there you go. So, with that all being said, thank you guys very much for watching, listening, and supporting. And as always, our fellow investigators, remember that the entertainment is out.
It's out there.
I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce. Special Agent Dr. Richtofen.
And until next time, fellow investigators, remember
The entertainment.
the entertainment
The entertainment is